The following program is rated TV MA LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
You're now tuned into a Planet Fanatics production.
I am the Senate. Do it. Do it.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, fellow fanatics. How is everybody doing this fine Monday morning? June is almost over, which is crazy. It's about to be July. And we're only going to have 5 months left of this year, which is, again, crazy. Right? August, September, October, November, December. Yeah, 5 months left of this year, which is crazy. So, appreciate everybody being here. Everybody that's in the chat. Sega said, "What? Can't believe I finally caught your show live. I watched everything. Get all boys. Do keep up the good work. Appreciate it. What's up, She Loves Fantasy? Appreciate you being here as well. SJ, appreciate it. He said, I feel bad for Monica, the actress and fans, but she was set up to fail from her debut and showing up in WandaVision. But Sam being demoted, that I am happy about. F. Mackey. Good morning, network. Appreciate you being here as well. And yeah, SJ, we're going to get into all of that with Monica in regards to where the hell she is, what's going on, are the reshoots doing anything, etc., etc., etc. So we have a few things to talk about today. Again, appreciate every single one of you guys being here this morning. I'm sure more people will start to come in as the show goes on. If you are new here, this is something, again, the live show, Planet Fanatics live show, that we will do Monday through Friday. It is at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, and we are always going to be live unless something life-preventing happens to where we are not able to make it live. But we are going to be here. We're going to be here. We're here for week 2 of trying to do the live stream every day. So like I said, we do have some things to talk about. We're going to talk about Monica Rambeau. A few of the scoopers are claiming that Monica Rambeau may not be in Doomsday at all. And if she is in Doomsday, it may just be a slight pop in, pop out, which to me doesn't make any damn sense, but we're going to get into that. We're going to also talk about Supergirl and how abysmal Supergirl's performance has been in the box office. Who's shocked? Not me. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Michael's race to the box office as well. Now, box office race, I mean. As far as Michael's box office race, we all know it's going to hit $1 billion. Like, I mean, if you don't know that by now, then you were as ignorant. You're as ignorant now as you were at the very beginning when we started talking about the box office, but that's neither here nor there. The race is trying to get it to $1 billion before his anniversary of his death, which is in 3 days. So I don't believe that that's going to happen. But a lot of people have made a lot of conscious efforts to making that happen. And I will commend them and applaud them for the amount that was given to the box office over the weekend. So we'll talk about that. And then, we're going to talk about House of the Dragon, season 3, episode 1, and that episode. And again, I will get into it, but I thought it was good. I didn't think it was fantastic, but we're going to talk about it. We'll talk about it and all of those things. So first thing that, again, let me go ahead and address some other people. Appreciate you, Andre. Appreciate you, SJ, again. And Chill Spot, Xavier. Appreciate you guys being here. Good morning. Good morning. Appreciate everybody that, again, that is not in the chat, that is just watching. And we're going to get into a lot of it. So let's go. Break it all down. Have a good morning. Dance if we have to. Cry if you have to. Shout if you have to. Let's get into it all. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is what's currently on the screen, and that's where the fuck is Monica Rambeau? Now, the reason that this doesn't make any sense to me is because some of the key points in the disastrous multiverse saga, the disastrous multiverse saga, was Monica. I'm sorry, I mean, I know a lot of people like to forget or try to forget the last 5 years of Marvel. However, that post-credit scene was one of the best things that we had out of the slop that was the multiverse saga. The Marvels was an abysmal film as well. I did not like the Marvels. I hated Dar-Benn. I thought that it was very corny and cheesy. I thought that even Nick Fury was completely different character-wise than he had ever been than we saw him before. So much so that I even thought he was a Skrull, because I was like, there's no way that that's Nick. That's not our Nick. That's not the way he acts. It's not the way he talks. It's not the way he goes about handling business or anything like that. So I thought that the movie didn't do justice on some characters. Some of the fight scenes, like, let me put it this way, not even some of the fight scenes. It was when Monica, Kamala, and Carol were switching powers. Those scenes, when they finally honed into that and were able to switch powers while fighting Dar-Benn, I thought that was pretty cool. Other than that, I thought the film was awful. However, the post-credit scene of that movie is quintessential, I feel like. Is it not one of the quintessential post-credit scenes moving into Doomsday and Secret Wars? That scene, although the incursion didn't completely happen in the Marvels, otherwise, one of the Earths would have been destroyed. Rather that been the X-Men universe or our 616 universe or 999, whatever it is. So, with that being said, we know in that post-credit scene that Monica meets the X-Men. She meets Binary, who resembles her mother, Maria Rambeau. In that universe, she did not become Captain Marvel. She became Binary, and you see Kelsey Grammer's Beast, and he also mentions that, Professor X wants an update, so he goes to tell Professor X about some things, and we all think that this is the same X-Men universe that is going to show up that James Marsden is in, the one that we saw the whatever the trailer or story, as the Russos called them, with Magneto, Xavier, the Sentinels, and that whole thing. We even know that, from what was shown at CinemaCon, that the X-Mansion and Gambit and a lot of the other X-Men are going to be a part of this film. However, if this is the same universe, and I guess it hasn't been confirmed by Marvel or anyone really that it is the same universe, but what? That is the exact. I feel like that has to be the exact same X-Men universe that we left Monica in at the end of the Marvels. To me, that made the entire sense of why, one of the reasons why the Avengers would be going to the X-Men universe, not just the fact that and this is all from what we've heard from scoopers and things like that, not just the fact that the Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom are all going to go to, or I'm sorry, the Avengers, the new Avengers and the Thunderbolts, or whatever their names are now, they're going to be all going to the Baxter Building. We know that from leaks. We know that from set photos and things like that. They're going to be going to the Baxter Building. They're all going to be convinced by Doom that whatever's going on, he needs their help, and they have to go to the X-Men universe. But I always assumed that one of the reasons the Avengers were going to that universe was because, hey, we got to go get our friend as well. I'm sure Carol has I thought Carol may have been told the Avengers by now, hey, listen, this is what's going on. We got to get Monica, blah, blah, blah. And that would have played into one of the reasons as to why they were going to that universe, not just solely because, hey, we just met this Doctor Doom guy. He's convinced us that we got to go here. And we're just automatically all going to jump into this ship and go to another universe. Monica being absent, if it is true, there are reshoots happening. And some of the scoopers are claiming that due to those reshoots, she may pop up in the film, and it still may not be even a big role. It may be a smaller role that she has. And still, to me, that does not make sense. It does not make sense. It doesn't make sense. Monica should be a huge part of this roster. She should be in the little leaked thing, if that's real. The leaked thing that's come out from Doomsday with Cap and Thor and Mystique and Nightcrawler and Scott and all of them all lined up with in a circle with the Sentinels coming out around the X-Mansion coming to get them. Why the fuck is Monica not in that? Why would Monica not be there? That just does not make any sense to me, bro. That does not make any sense. So the fact that Monica's not in it just kind of and I hate to do this, kind of plays on the same themes that a lot of us have been saying since the multiverse saga has happened, or not the multiverse saga. I've been saying it for a long time, since the death of T'Challa, since the not using of War Machine, and then the whole that Armor Wars being canceled, Blade not happening. Give me some more. I'm sure I'm missing some. The lack of advertisement for Ironheart. Just the treatment of Black characters over at Marvel Studios seems to still be going strong. If this is true, if Monica is not seen in Doomsday, it just, to me, does not make any sense. And again, it just plays into more of the treatment of Black characters over at Marvel Studios. Blade is still not happening. Armor Wars, you haven't heard shit about. Monica is still missing. T'Challa is still dead. These are all Black heroes that are getting no shine, no attention, no recognition at all, just sitting on a shelf collecting dust. And I don't understand why Monica would not be in Doomsday if we saw her in the post-credit scene with the same fucking X-Men that we're about to be within Doomsday. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Now, what else is being said is that if these reshoots are happening, or well, the reshoots are definitely happening, but if Carol, because Carol apparently is not in the film either, if Carol and Monica are a part of these reshoots, and I guess Kamala, if they're all part of these reshoots, then that could put them in the film. Again, a lot of the scoopers are saying they don't know how much of the film that would be. They're still thinking that would kind of somewhat be shortened, dialed in, to the point, cameo, in and out. Again, just doesn't make any sense to me. But this person kind of agrees, and they said, sorry to vent a bit, but this was on my mind. Not having Monica as central plot point, God, for Avengers Doomsday is actually really crazy and stupid, because the movie The Marvels, we see Monica stopping tear through space-time caused by Dar-Benn. When she got trapped, she was trapped in an alternate universe with the X-Men, the exact same one we see in Doomsday. This is why she is very important. She is the plot centers. She is the plot center that will lead the Avengers to the X-Men. That's my point. That's what I thought. Because, come on, if she's there, would the Avengers not be trying to figure out how to get Monica back? Is she not a part of maybe she's not an Avenger. Maybe she's not an Avenger, but she's still one of the superheroes. She knows them. Goes on to say, and I'm hearing she has a little part in Very, Very Stupid. We have that post credit. Why have the director of the Marvels go on set? Boom. That's another point. I didn't read this before, but that's another point too. Why did you have Nia DaCosta go? And we know this because Nia did a interview where she was talking about there's no bad blood between her and Marvel. She loves Kevin Feige. She still loves all the people over there, blah, 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 blah. Despite the bullshit she went through trying to get the Marvels going up and going, and the ideas that she had for the Marvels just for the film to be the abysmal disaster that it was, why would you have Nia DaCosta show up to the set of Avengers Doomsday / Secret Wars? And the reason that they were doing this, they were pulling certain directors from certain films during the multiverse saga to Doomsday set because they were trying to fill in plot points, connecting one film to the next, to the next, to the next. That's why they pulled Nia. That's why they pulled Nia to set. So the fact that you pull her to set, I don't know what was said, I don't know what was done or whatever at the set, but the fact that you pull her to set, and we're still hearing that Monica may not be in the film. And if she is in the film, it's very, very small and stupid. Why? Why did you pull Nia to the set to have her explain what was going on to fill the plot points of your film, to not use Monica? Then it goes on to say, on the set of Doomsday, if she has a very little part, if this turns out to be true, I will be disappointed because this is a very important part of Doomsday. Carol has to find Monica, and Monica reunite with her for a different universe, her different universe mother binary. What they're saying there, who's not even confirmed yet for this movie. I really hope Marvel doesn't mess this up. Please make Monica a big part of Doomsday. Yeah. So that's, I mean, I don't know. Monica may be in the film. She may not be in the film. They are doing reshoots as we speak. And with these reshoots, she may pop up in the film. And if she does pop up in the film, we just don't know if that's going to be for a longer role, which I just strongly believe she should have been one of the main characters in this film. I don't believe, I can't wrap my head around why she's not, honestly. I believe her, Carol, and Ms. Marvel should have been key characters a part of this film. Although I hate the Marvels, I think the Marvels is terrible. What the Marvels does in that post-credit scene, what it does having our first glimpse of an incursion in a film, it sets up Doomsday. She should be in Doomsday. But as always, questions for you guys. So let me know down below what you guys are thinking. Do you think that Monica should be in Doomsday? Do you think that she should have a minor role? Should her role be major? Or do you not care? Do you just think, hey, another black character, not a part of Marvel? That's just another day in Marvel. You guys let me know what you guys are thinking down below. Let's see what you guys are saying over here. Xavier said, them sidelining Monica is not a shocker to me at all. This is typical MCU behavior. Yep. Yeah. SJ said T'Challa's treatment set the precedent for how black heroes would be treated. Recast T'Challa warned people, but they wanted to shield for Coogler instead of seeing the truth. That's very true as far as like setting the precedent. It really did start. I won't say it's really, it really did start with the killing of T'Challa. Chadwick's death really fucked Marvel Studios up to the point to where they just thought that they didn't see any other route but to sideline T'Challa, and as an effect of that, it seems that has trickled down to other black characters. You know, it started with Blade. 2019 is when Blade was announced. Haven't seen anything from Blade. He's rumored to show up in Doomsday or Secret Wars. Who fucking knows? And also rumored to be leading the Midnight Suns. Although I didn't care for Ironheart, I wasn't checking for Ironheart. I watched the first 3 episodes of Ironheart, then I watched the last part with Mephisto. Although I wasn't checking for it, that still doesn't negate the fact that there was little to no advertisement for Ironheart. That doesn't negate the fact that they did not give a flying fuck about Ironheart. I think they waited till like the last 2-3 days before they started shilling out posters and TV spots and all that kind of shit. No one gave a fuck about Ironheart, including Marvel. War Machine, Armor Wars, Don Cheadle. Don't know. Couldn't tell you anything about Don Cheadle. Don't know anything about what's happening with Rhodey. Don't know. And I believe Armor Wars is just completely dead. Like it's off the table. Yeah. So, you know, black characters don't get the best treatment, it seems like, over at Marvel. Xavier said they clearly don't care about the black characters. Let's see. A film goer said, I wouldn't be surprised if the Russos just completely ignore the post-credit scene. You know, which is insane because it's one of the better post-credit scenes from, again, that disastrous multiverse saga. So it's just insane if they were to do that. Vaseline said, MCU Monica has been treated so horribly. Why do no black characters have love interest lately? That's another thing too. There are no love interests for our black heroes. That was one of my complaints with, well, you know, I've gone back and forth with on what's it called? Bucky and Falcon's show, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Well, in fact, back and forth on how I hated that and how it just did nothing for Sam. Cody said, "Who actually cares about Monica at this point, though?" I cared about Monica during WandaVision. I cared about Monica during the Marvels, even though I didn't like the Marvels. And most importantly, I care about Monica because she's one of the only surviving Black characters that I have to look at that resemble my culture. So yeah, I do. Maybe not a lot of people care about Monica or where Monica is, but I would definitely say, as far as Marvel goes, they set it up as a way for us, the audience, to care about Monica. You showed her in WandaVision, which was one of your most successful projects out of since Endgame. You showed how important she was there. You did the whole look up thing at the post credit scene with WandaVision, indicating that she was going to have a bigger role with the Skrulls and Nick Fury and all that shit, just for her not to have any type of role in Secret Invasion or any type of thing like that. We see her next in the Marvels, where we assume, okay, you're setting her up for another big role because of this post-credit scene, and then the X-Men are in this post-credit scene with her. Oh yeah, Monica's about to be eating as a character in Doomsday, just for us to now hear, oh no, she's probably not in it, which doesn't make sense. So at this point, I guess you could say who probably cares about her this much, but Marvel damn sure did a bang up job of trying to get us to care about Monica as much as they put her in important certain projects. I'm Too Fly Cam said Monica can be on my roster, fine as. Ricardo said all of us. Cody said Monica is like one of the most insignificant characters to have come out of the MCU recently. I guess it depends on the side of the fence that you're standing on. Sheila's Fantasy said, anyone who has been paying attention wants to know." Cody. Lauren said they're ditching characters that didn't perform because where the Marvels, they set up the X-Men. Yeah, I mean, well, then he goes on to say, did they not give us Storm because Maria in it? Well, I would say, ditching certain characters. I don't think Monica's one that you ditch. I don't think Monica's one of the characters that you ditch. You set her up for an important role with that post-credit scene. So I don't believe Monica's one that you ditch. Good morning, John. Appreciate you being here. AF Filmgoer said, I think Marvel has bigger things to worry about or prioritizing instead of worrying about how they treat certain characters. That's why they're literally bringing back everybody from the older movies. Oh, they definitely have bigger things to worry about. We're past. Actually, I think treating certain characters is a part of that bigger things to worry about. Their treatment of characters. Yes, we're seeing everybody come back, but that's Secret Wars. That's Secret Wars. These people aren't going to be in Doomsday. That's all for Secret Wars. Lauren said Secret Wars hasn't filmed yet, so it wasn't that. SJ said, I mean, is MCU changing plans all that unusual? I think Monica could appear, but yeah, I don't think she's playing a notable role. There is no point in hiding Monica or Carol as they are expected. They are expected, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be in the film. And then again, that is what the scoopers are claiming at this point, that they are not in the film. That goes for Spider-Man and Doctor Strange as well. Ira said, really hope to see Monica in Secret Wars or Doomsday. I believe she'll be in Secret Wars. Right now, it's just muddy about Doomsday. Lauren said, everyone likes Spider-Man. Everyone likes Spider-Man. Looks great. But when it comes to Doomsday, everyone's like, I hope they don't mess it up. Cody said they have other characters they're going to show that people actually care about instead of lesser popular ones. It's not really so much about showing up in lesser popular ones. I mean, because you've got Ms. Marvel, who is a lesser popular character. Actually, let's go ahead and let's look at the rosters for. Let me pull up the Doomsday roster currently, since we're talking about lesser characters. So our Doomsday roster currently, mind you, has Thunderbolts members in it, since we're talking about lesser characters. Let's see. Make sure to just have this roster here. All right. So lesser characters. Obviously Thor, not a lesser character. Would you consider Anthony Mackie's Captain America a beloved character by all? Like people are really running and checking for Anthony Mackie's Captain America, or would you consider Anthony Mackie one of the characters that really didn't do so well during the multiverse saga? Let's marinate on that. Let's move to the next one. Vanessa Kirby. So let me make this to where you guys can see this too. Vanessa Kirby, Sue Storm. Is Sue Storm currently, as we stand in the MCU, a big character? Based off of what we saw from the Fantastic Four, does Sue hold this magnificent role on the roster for Doomsday? Or is she more of like, oh, okay, we've seen Sue once. Marinate on that. We'll keep going. Ant-Man. Ant-Man had an abysmal fucking film in Quantumania. Some might say that might be the straw that actually broke the camel's back. Are people checking for Ant-Man? Is Ant-Man somebody that's putting asses in seats for Doomsday or Secret Wars? Marinate on that while we continue to talk about Monica. Yelena. I'm not going to say Yelena's a lesser character because Yelena's actually a liked character by a lot of people. I like Yelena a lot. Wyatt Russell. Wyatt Russell, U.S. agent. Is U.S. agent on the roster of people that are characters that people are really checking for Doomsday? I just want to make sure. I want to make sure that we're all on the same page because they have other characters that are going to show that people actually care about instead of lesser popular ones. People care about U.S. agent? When we have these conversations daily, I feel like we all sometimes live in different sectors of the internet, different sectors of what we're consuming. Because if we're putting Monica on a lesser character roster, but we're sitting here looking at Wyatt Russell's U.S. agent, Namor the Kukulkan from Wakanda Forever, come on. You ain't seen this motherfucker since COVID. Sebastian Stan's Bucky, of course, that's a beloved character. Are people checking for Letitia Wright's Black Panther? It's part of the Fantastic Four. Kelsey Grammer's Beast, that's big. Sentry, sure, I guess. Danny Ramirez, the Falcon. Again, we're putting Monica on this lesser role. Danny Ramirez, the Falcon. Okay. Fantastic Four. The Red Guardian. Do you know how many jokes I've seen about the Red Guardian online? I've seen I've seen people praying that he's dead due to the scene, whether it be real or not, the scene of all the Sentinels coming out of the ground during, the leaked Doomsday scene. He's not in that scene. People have been in the comments and quote retweeting it saying, God, I hope he's dead. Is this a character that people are looking for over Monica? I'm just asking. I'm just asking because I want to make sure we're all on the same page. M'Baku. Sure, M'Baku's been here since forever. Been here since phase 1. Or not phase 1, since 2018's Black Panther. So maybe M'Baku has a special place in some's hearts, not one of mine, but sure. Ghost. Again, Monica, who was in WandaVision, one of the most successful projects to come out of the MCU since Endgame. The role she had in it, the Marvels, abysmal film, one of the best post-credit scenes to come out since Endgame. She's in a part of both of those, making her an important part of what they're moving forward to. But we're looking at Ghost, who is currently on the roster. But hey, they're focusing on other characters that people like instead of lesser characters. Let's keep going. Loki, love Loki. Of course, Patrick Stewart. Of course, Ian McKellen. Alan Cummings, Nightcrawler. Mystique. These are all people we want to see. James Marsden. Some people want to see Channing Tatum's Gambit. Pedro's back with the Fantastic Four. And of course, you've got Dr. Doom and Robert Downey Jr. So out of that roster, out of those people, those chairs that we set 2 hours, 3 hours for and watched, you're telling me that some of those names right there are better character names than Monica Rambeau? Okay. Hard disagree. Sheila's Fantasy said, I'm not feeling as nostalgic about these returning Avengers actors as I thought I might. Yeah. I just need to see that trailer first. I really think a lot of that is going to change with that, whatever they show us first. Cody said that they did that out of respect for him. I think, I don't know which one you're talking about there. Hey, a film goer said, yeah, Ironheart wasn't very good at all. Lauren said Ironheart came and went. Don't even remember it. Ricardo said they can keep Armor Wars. Can be kept. Lawrence said maybe because nobody really watched that movie. Are we talking about if okay? Even if people didn't watch the Marvels, and I agree with you, no one did watch the Marvels. I mean, it's in the numbers. No one watched the Marvels. That post-credit scene was the only thing people were talking about. It was the only thing. It immediately got leaked online. It immediately got put on YouTube. It immediately got thousands of shares and people talking about this and this and that. No one cared about Dar-Benn. No one cared about the incursion. No one cared about them switching bodies. No one cared about Black Girl Magic. No one cared about that shit. They cared about that post-credit scene that led into Doomsday and what it could indicate. And the fact that Monica was in it was huge. Doesn't matter if they didn't watch the movie. Just like it doesn't matter if you watched Moon Knight, it doesn't matter if you watched Ms. Marvel, it doesn't matter if you watched Echo, it doesn't matter if you watched Love and Blunder, it doesn't matter if you watched most of the films from the Multiverse Saga, because the Russos already told you phase 0 with Doomsday. So none of it matters, but there are important key points from the Multiverse Saga, and Monica's post-credit scene is one of those important key points moving into Doomsday. I don't care how anybody tries to flip it, spin it, or twist it. You're not going to sit and try to tell me that that post-credit scene at that time was not huge for Doomsday. And Monica being in it was not huge for the character. Like, bro, no, I'm not doing this with y'all today. Andre said, Monica has to be the connection for the Fox X-Men. I agree. Ricardo said they can keep Armor Wars. Andre said Sam Wilson couldn't get a bank loan. Dirty Joker said DC will never kill off their heavy hitters. Christopher Reeves been gone decade and Superman still lives on. How many Reeves tributes to him and others who played the character? Lots. Ricardo said ditch Scott Lang and bring 30-year-old Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne. Need Quicksilver back too. Lawrence said they didn't show Monica but Cassie in it. SMH. Her Sue was awesome. Yeah, she was. I loved her Sue. She was probably the best out of the 4. She Loves Fantasy said can't get much lesser than the Thunderbolts. I'm telling you. The Thunderbolts, and I liked that film. You guys know I liked that out of the was it 3? Yeah, out of those 3, out of Thunderbolts, Fantastic, because I thought I was gonna love Fantastic Four. Out of Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, and Brave New Shit, Thunderbolts was the best to me. It was the best. And that's a low bar, but it was still the best. Sanju said MCU didn't create big characters from Multiverse Saga. Nope. They did not. Lawrence said people going for the X-Men and old Avengers, if we're being honest there. Yeah, but this is... Yeah, they are, of course, for Doomsday and things like that. Secret Wars. I mean, the whole thing is going to be pulling in. It's the way the Scoopers have described it. It's going to be a huge celebration, not just of the MCU, of Marvel's filmography history. So I'm expecting to see a lot of old faces. I mean, Nicolas Cage's his name is even on the table. Ghost Rider is what they're saying. So, from his film. So yeah, I'm expecting to see a lot of them. Not talking to me. Let's see. Sanjay said, "Is Sentry a big fan favorite, brother?" No. I mean, no. Like no one is talking about Sentry. As you guys know, I'm a Marvel Legends collector. What you guys don't see on camera, everything over here is nothing but figures. Nothing but figures. Sentry's figures from the MCU were not selling off the shelves. They weren't. I can go to GameStop right fucking now and see that 2-pack on clearance because no one gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck. So no. Vaseline said Fantastic Four was boring as fuck. Sue was boring. I liked Sue. Fantastic Four was boring, but I liked Sue. Ricardo said folks been begging for centuries since phase 2. Let's see. Sanju said Kamala Khan, Kate Bishop, and all the young Avengers are not important. No, to a degree. Depends. It depends on what. And the reason I say that is because Children's Crusade is supposed to play a role in Doomsday and Secret Wars. It's supposed to be one of the subplots, I guess, of Secret Wars. Remember, Wanda's still missing. She is still going to be a huge point in Secret Wars, probably not Doomsday, but Secret Wars being used by Doctor Doom. And the subplot point of that with using Children's Crusade is that we know from the Marvels that Ms. Marvel has started to put together the champions or the Young Avengers or whatever the fuck they're going to be called. And that roster is going to include first Ms. Marvel, Cassie, Speed, Wiccan, possibly Hulkling, because right now, rumor-wise, Marvel is talking to Connor Story. Get the fuck away from my camera before you hit it again. Talking to Connor Story about... Hold on. Okay. It's going to include Ms. Marvel, Cassie, Speed, Wiccan. Rumor-wise, Marvel is talking to is it Connor Stories? Connor Stories from Heated Rivalry to portray Hulkling, which I think is not a good casting if they're trying to get Connor Story to be Hulkling. I would go with Kit Connor before I would go with him to be Hulkling. But you'll have him on the roster. Who else is on that damn roster? Maybe Elijah. I doubt it. Yeah. So with that subplot deal is going to be them going to find Wanda, just like in Children's Crusade. So how events will play out like Children's Crusade, I'm not really sure, but that they are a part of it. The champions are supposed to be a part of it, and then moving into, I guess, this next phase, the mutant saga, they may be getting some type of project. I'm not really sure. It's what is out there, though. But as far as right now goes, you're absolutely correct. They're not important characters. Except for, I would still say Speed and Wiccan are. The only reason I say Speed and Wiccan are is because Vision Quest does lead into Doomsday, and the events of that are important. So that's the only reason I would say. Sheila's Fantasy said they're not Darius, so we all know why. Yeah. Vaseline said M'Baku been around forever. Who's his wife? All black characters and so. Man, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Senju said Multiverse Saga did not create new stars. That's why we are getting Avengers and X-Men. Yeah, no, it didn't create new stars. But that's because Marvel was at that time, Marvel thought that they could feed us anything because they thought their shit didn't stink. They thought after Endgame, and especially after WandaVision, because WandaVision, they were still at the top of their game. WandaVision was so fucking good. And they came around with Loki, which I thought Loki was still really, really good. A lot of people some people didn't like Loki, but I thought Loki was still that peak Marvel shit. Then from there, we took a nosedive. And that nosedive started with Falcon and Winter Soldier. And now Falcon and Winter Soldier got scraped, banged up, changed, flipped because of COVID, because of all the, and all that kind of stuff. The story was too centrally close to what was actually happening in the real world at that time, which who gives a fuck? It's fantasy, but do what you got to do. So they changed that story. That's why it took the nosedive that it did. But from there, the projects just got worse and worse and worse and worse. So due to that very real fact, and thinking that their shit didn't stink, that they could feed us an Echo show, could feed us a Moon Knight show, and every time he punched somebody, they turned the camera, and we were just supposed to eat that shit up. Feed us a Hawkeye show where what the fuck? I don't even remember what the fuck we did during that show. A Secret Invasion show that was so far from Secret Invasion's comic that it's so unrecognizable. I've never revisited that show. I don't think I ever will. So you're absolutely correct when you say they didn't build any stars. Like literally no one, nothing, nada. SJ said Kevin still plays fave. Scott, Yelena, and Kamala are his fave. Shang-Chi, Namor, Shuri kept around for diversity and cause their directors matter. Ryan and Destin. John C. said, we still don't have Miles Morales in any live action Spider-Man films. Feige has no plans for Miles. I think that's intentional because Miles is black. I would care more about Spider-Man 4 if Miles was in it. Sheila's Fantasy said, yeah, Monica seeing X-Men Beast major. Yeah, it was huge. It was huge. It was huge. That's why I'm saying I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like, oh, well, Monica's really not that important. The fuck are you talking about? Since Endgame, that is one of the most important post-credit scenes. So to say, well, Monica's she's really not that big of a character. What? Over Red Guardian? Over Torres's the Falcon? I'm not playing this game. That's funny. Ricardo said, we just had Peter enter his adult stage. I don't want to see a Miles nor a random Spidey running around New York and Peter doesn't know him. I'd agree to that. AF Film Gore said Thunderbolts was good, best MCU film of the year. That I completely agree. And people look at me crazy when I say that. I completely agree. It was the best MCU film of the 3 that we got. It was good. It was good. I hate the whole third act dealing, they beat the void with love. I didn't like that. But the film wasn't bad. Ricardo said, I love Fantastic Four. Thunderbolts was all right and enjoyable. Watch with the action scenes. Yep, and then no one talks about Brave New. Yeah, there you go. Brave New World. That was awful. Century 2-pack on clearance. It is. Check your local GameStops. He's there on clearance. And not only is he there on the 2-pack on clearance, his individually sold figure is on clearance too because no one cares. No one. Oh, sorry. Patrick said, never cared for Sentry in the comics. I just felt the concept of a dual personality went on for too long and should have been resolved, but they made it consistent. Yeah. Ricardo said, what the fudge has... Hey, brother, I forgot even about Scar. Maybe he's on the champions because they're not the young Avengers. None of them are young like that anymore. So I'm assuming they're going to be the champions. So maybe he's on the champions. I don't know. Forgot all about that, brother. Lawrence said, I was trying to read his lips when he was telling his forever. Oh, sorry. I had to tell him to get the fuck behind me. Because he keeps T'Challa will go the space behind my camera is no bigger than probably this. So the fact that he wants to stuff himself into that little space when he's got this entire room to sit in blows my fucking mind. I don't understand why he does that shit. Monty said, how you have YA and no parrot. I don't know what that is. Maybe I'm lost. AFM Gore said X-Men reboot after Secret Wars with Thunderbolts directors already confirmed for 2028 and 2029. Yep. Patrick said, I do like the actors who played Sentry, but not for Sentry. Thought he was bland and uncharacteristically boring. I think a different actor would have done far better with that role than Lewis Pullman. Maybe so. Ricardo says season 2 low-key fell off. Yeah. Lawrence said I didn't like season 2 at all. I hated it. Lawrence said the champions will get a scene in Secret Wars like the women in Endgame. Maybe, honestly. Maybe. Xavier said they thought they could just throw the MCU into autopilot and not pay attention to the details of storylines. Yeah. Yeah. Blue said I like Falcon and Winter Soldier. Man, Blue, I hated it. Damn, Blue liked Hawkeye too. I hated all of that, man. I did not like any of that. And I remember, if you go back, if you guys, I think, no, we might have been done with reactions by Hawkeye. I think our last reaction, honestly, might have been She-Hulk or Echo. I don't know. But if you go back and watch any of our reactions, you will see how it slowly goes. It just starts to fall off. You start to see the cracks are really showing in our reactions. And that Hawkeye one, if I remember, I think we did Hawkeye. I really do. I think the 3rd episode was the only thing I liked. Patrick said Secret Invasion should have been maybe a 2-part movie. I agree. I don't believe they screwed up their storyline. I believe that it should be 2 as well. Lauren said WandaVision and Loki were the best ones for sure. They haven't topped them since. Yes, Miles is controlled by Sony. And Amy Pascal said, do not expect any live action Miles until they conclude the animated Miles, which should be the same Miles in my opinion. Lawrence said Doom should kill 3 Thunderbolts, starting with Red Guardian. Red Guardian, Ghost, and U.S. Agent. I like U.S. Agent. Now, I just said what I said about him. I like U.S. Agent through Thunderbolts. I did not like him in Falcon and Winter shit. I didn't like that. I didn't like him in it. However, he was great in Thunderbolts. He was fantastic. Ricardo said they turned Bruce into a deadbeat dad. Let's see. Appreciate you being here. Anthony, who said, what's up? Then said, did you like Moon Knight? I didn't completely hate Moon Knight. That was still around the time where I was like still optimistic and high on Marvel. But I didn't love Moon Knight. I didn't like a lot of the fight scenes. I thought the final battle between Khonshu or what was the the alligator one? I forget her name. The fight between the gods at the end should have been so much better as well. Okay, I don't know if Blue is trolling. Oh, I thought you said lit. I thought I don't know why I thought that said Moon Knight was lit. Because I was about to say, okay, nigga, now you in here trolling. I was about to say, what? Anthony said, I was a big fan of Falcon and Winter Soldier because that's the genre of books that I like, those espionage thrillers. I'm a big fan of movies like 3 Days to Condor. Yeah, I mean, Falcon and Winter Soldier, for me, the very first episode, especially that very first scene where Falcon is Falcon still and he's flying through chasing Backtrot, that shit was so good, man. When he's flying in and out of those helicopters, that shit is so good. And it's like from there, we just said, and I'm like, damn. Criminals with Facts said, Darius, besides a T'Challa recast, what would bring you back to being all the X-Men? The X-Men. That's literally the final thing I'm holding to is the X-Men. I'm hoping that they don't fumble this. It's the X-Men. All right. Let's move on to the next thing here. That was our Marvel stuff as far as Monica goes. So we'll see what happens with Monica. Let's move on to Supergirl. Actually, no, let's move to Michael because that's what I had up next. Let's move to Michael. Then we'll move to Supergirl. All right. So As we all know, Michael, the biopic is in theaters. It is also streaming. Going to streaming did not affect its theater run. It did not affect its box office. It's not having any effect on its box office at all. I find it quite hilarious week to week when I get messages or comments from people that are telling me, "Oh, it's going to stop," or "Oh, the train's stopping soon," or "It's still not going to reach the billion," or "I don't see it," or blah 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 blah. All the stuff that people are saying. It just again, I don't know if at this point, I think it's more so you just trying to cope with the fact that you were wrong. And that's okay. I understand that. But at this point, the numbers are it's literally written on the wall. It's literally written on the wall. Oppenheimer is literally doing somersaults right now, trying to avoid being caught by Michael, and it's in its crosshairs. It's right there. It's in its crosshairs right there. It's going to get Oppenheimer. It took out Bohemian Rhapsody, and it's on its way to take out Oppenheimer. Then after it takes out Oppenheimer, it is going to become the highest grossing biopic of all time. Now, if you rewind back 2 months, I said this at the very beginning. I said, this is what Michael Jackson does. He breaks records. He breaks records in life. He breaks records in death. And that's what he's doing currently in death. He is breaking records. He's having the most successful biopic ever, soon to be the most highest grossing biopic of all time at $1 billion. And again, anybody that does not see that $1 billion, you're out of your fucking mind. You're coping because the writing is on the wall. The funny thing that I've seen too is people still trying to discredit Mike and trying to say that, whatever. It doesn't really matter the discredit stuff, but it's the writing's on the wall. It's all there. Let's hear what brother here was saying about what it's currently doing box office wise.
All right, let's talk about the Michael Jackson biopic and its insane legs at the box office. Not only has it beaten Bohemian Rhapsody to be the number one highest grossing music biopic of all time, in a few days, it shall beat Oppenheimer. So the Michael Jackson biopic will be the number one highest grossing music biopic and the number one biopic, period. People try to write this movie off. Critics, haters, they tried to sabotage this movie.
Tried.
It didn't work
Tried.
at all. And the biggest factor in the movie being number one in terms of music biopic in general, was its last two markets, which was Russia and Japan. So its next mission is whether it will make $1 billion or not. And the only thing really stopping that is that Lionsgate has already put it up for digital sale, which can lead to illegal streaming and then people buying it, of course. So it might not make $1 billion because of that. This has become a massive hit.
It's still making $1 billion.
Jafar Jackson at next year's Oscars should be in contention.
Oh, most definitely.
And the sequel is already announced. It took Oppenheimer 4 months to reach its box office total of $970 million. It's going to take the Michael Jackson movie just over 2 months to do.
Just over 2 months.
Insane.
Just over 2 months.
Just an update on the Michael Jackson movie. Still a huge hit. Has box office legs. It's going to be a huge hit on digital, physical media, and streaming.
Yeah, it took, like he said, it took Oppenheimer 4 months to do what it's doing. It's taken Michael 2 months to do what it's doing. But this was always going to be the fact. I mean, Michael Jackson is larger than life. I've said many times, and I will say it again, next to Jesus Christ, he is the most famous name in the world. I just don't understand how that's not understandable. Michael Jackson is larger than life. He literally is. He's larger than life. And it doesn't matter if that's this generation. It doesn't matter if it's your children's generation or your children's 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 generation. Michael Jackson's name will be synonymous with life in general. It will. It will. Forever and ever and ever. And anybody that ever thought any different about Mike, it is simply a lack of knowledge on who this person is. It is simply a lack of knowledge on how the life that this person lived, and the name that the name and legacy that this person left behind. It's larger than life. I mean, I'll never understand the doubting Michael Jackson. I think this was said too. When it's a 1v1 and it's Michael Jackson against someone, you always bet on Mike. You always bet on Mike because he's an icon. He's an icon. So I would definitely forever and ever support Michael Jackson, for sure. Cody, that one got you blocked, brother. That one got you blocked. I don't do Michael Jackson. Not doing none of that. don't do any Michael Jackson slander. So if anybody comes in here with some Mike slander, you come in here talking about some kid shit, you come in here talking about some shit that the FBI did not find any credible evidence on, and 17-year witch hunt, and that same witch hunt is still going on today with Netflix's bullshit, don't get me started. You will get your ass blocked, and you will not view any of my fucking streams. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I do not play when it comes to Mike. I do not play when it comes to disrespect. If you're going to come in here talking about kids and touching this and all that type of shit, then you have a weird infatuation with kids yourself, because that's not even the topic on the table right now. The topic on the table is the box office. However you see children when you talk about Mike, that's something personal that you need to look in the mirror and have a conversation with yourself about. No one's talking about harming kids. No one's talking about touching kids. If you bring up touching kids, that's a conversation between you, the man in the mirror, and upstairs. But your ass will get blocked from my stream. And that's straight up. Where was I even saying about Mike? Where was I going? Yeah, so like I said, the film is doing what it's doing. It looks fantastic. It's doing great numbers. It's going to continue to do that. They also said here that Michael is expected to surpass 1 billion before next weekend and become the highest grossing biopic of all time. Let me see where it currently is sitting. It is currently sitting at $959 million. It will. They're saying it's going to surpass Bohemian Rhapsody by next weekend. I do not think that it's going to hit $1 billion by next weekend. I don't think that that's going to happen. It could happen. I don't think it's going to hit $1 billion by next weekend. But the campaign right now from a lot of fans is trying to get it to hit that billion before Thursday. Obviously, that being the anniversary of Mike's death on Thursday. So people are trying to get it to hit $1 billion by then. But I can damn guarantee you, if it doesn't hit that billion by Thursday, it actually may hit it it may cross $1 billion by the weekend, because with Thursday being the anniversary of his death, a lot of people are going to then go out that weekend, probably that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and see the film again. I talk about this every time. There are TikToks of people that have seen it 16, 17, 20 times. That are just repeat. And that is the campaign from a lot of fans right now online. It's that, hey, go see this film. Even if you've seen it 5 times, 10 times, go see it again, go see it again, go see it again. So Michael's doing numbers. I was always going to hit $1 billion. So the next time we talk about Michael, we may be celebrating the fact that it has hit $1 billion. And I hope that that's on a Thursday to where we can all sit here and talk. And I've already said, I'm not saying it now. I'm not going big. I'm not going over the top right now. But when it hits that $1 billion, that is a Pantheon stream you don't want to miss. That is a Pantheon stream you do not want to miss, because I'm going at every single name that went after Michael. Every single name that went after Michael. Let's see. So you guys let me know what you guys are thinking. Do you think that Michael hits $1 billion by next weekend? Do you think it's going to take a little bit over that weekend for it to hit $1 billion? And if you haven't seen it yet, when do you plan on seeing it? And if you have seen it, how many times have you seen it? Let's see. AF Moviegoer said, can we just agree it's weird to have sleepovers with kids that aren't yours and have no relations with? I don't think that's unreasonable to not want to support that kind of stuff. Again, I really don't want to go into, and I really don't, because I have other topics, and I'm trying to do a thing right where I do my stream where I'm not going 2-3 hours on a stream, but I always get hit with side tangents, and that's fine. That's fine, because it's literally what I'm here for. That's why I'm live. I want to have the conversations, but this is not one really that I want to go down a road on, because if I go down this road, we're going to be here for another hour and a half. Because when it comes to, and I want to put this back on the screen, when it comes to Michael Jackson, everybody can run to Google. Everybody can run to YouTube, Chat GPT, Grok, or whatever the fuck it is you use, and find out information that you lack knowledge on. That is those same tools are at your disposal when it comes to Michael Joseph Jackson. If you choose to run off of a headline, that you've seen from TMZ run off of the head, and I'm not speaking directly to you, AF, I'm speaking in general. If you choose to run on with a headline from TMZ or from Yahoo or Forbes or Hollywood Reporter or Variety or Vanity Fair or whatever, or Netflix's weird time documentary, if you choose to run with those things, actually, let me give a better example here. If you choose to run with those things other than doing the research for yourself and finding out, wait a minute, let me find out who was Michael Jackson, then you've done yourself a disservice. And I say that because I always say, I personally, this is a me thing. This is a me thing. I will never join a conversation ever where I am not privy, where I don't have knowledge on what is being conversated about. If I don't know what's going on, if I don't have anything of substance to add to the conversation, any knowledge, I'm going to keep my fucking mouth shut. That's why when people come in and say things like this, find it weird that he was having sleepovers with kids, you don't know Michael. You didn't do the research. Like Macaulay Culkin said, when you say have a sleepover with Michael, you have to understand Michael's bedroom was like 3 stories. Yeah, I was literally sleeping over with Michael, but it's not like we were in the same bed. There were other kids there and it was a sleepover. And he may have been in his bed. We may have been on the 2nd floor of his bedroom. It really doesn't. So when that's coming from, you're talking about here. I want to show what I'm about to pull up to. This is why I didn't want to do this, because I have so many different roads that I can go down that I'm going to get here. So here's what I was going to say too before I show that. You got Macaulay Culkin, you got Aaron Carter, you got I forget boy's name from the Goonies or whatever, the celebrity, the famous celebrity children, and even some of the ones that weren't celebrities that came out and defended Mike and said that he didn't do this. You had certain families, and if you do the research on those families, you know how money hungry those families were, that were going after Michael. One of those families went after George Lopez. Another one of those families went after Chris Tucker. You know, a lot of these families, like Wade, and I forget the other boy's name, that have their trial coming up in November. They've been trying to get money out of the Jacksons for 17 plus years, and still getting hit in the courts with no, not enough evidence. No, not guilty. But we keep somehow finding ourselves back on this road here with the conversation of, is this weird, or was this weird, or was that weird, or was this weird, or was that weird? No one knows what was going on behind the doors of Neverland Ranch, besides the people that were behind the doors of Neverland Ranch. And that is some of those children, that honest children that came out and said what they said, the staff members that came out and said what they said. Again, the 17-year witch hunt by the FBI, where you found nothing. And then one of the first accusers said that Michael, they had, one of the first accusers, they had him describe Michael's genitalia. Can you describe Michael's body to us? And if you can describe Michael's body to us down to a T, we're going to go get him from his house, bring him down the station, have him stripped butt ass naked, fill up all on his body. And then if your description matches what we're looking at, jail. So you pulled Mike out of his house based off of that description, pulled him down to the police department, felt all up on his body to come up with nothing. Anyway, the first kid also said, oh, Michael's circumcised. We know from the fucking autopsy that Michael wasn't circumcised. So how is that type of body, if you were analyzing his body, how do you not remember that if you were performing oral acts on him? I mean, again, we could go on. We could go on and on and on and on, but we'd be here for a while, and that's just not what the stream is about. This stream is not for me to break down what Mike did or didn't do, what lies were said and what lies weren't. Like I said, it's all out there. But to answer that question, no. Because of what I know, no. Because of the things I've seen, things I've watched, the documentaries and things that I've studied on Mike, no. Now, if you want to look for the witch hunt stuff, like this documentary that's on Netflix that's being narrated by the same people that were after Mike during the 17-year witch hunt by the FBI, sure, you can believe that. That's what I was going to show. I'm glad I brought that back up because I wanted to show that as well. Let me pull this really quickly. This is from that documentary. So when you say that part, give me 1 second. Make sure this shit gets seen. Where the hell are you? Hold on. And I wouldn't take the time out to normally look for this, but I want to find this. Here it is. Okay. Hold on. All right. Let's look at this. This is from that witch hunt documentary by Netflix. And after this, we're moving on from Mike. You can do your own personal research on Michael. He's the most famous person in the world. It's all out there.
That really appropriate for a man, a grown man, to be doing that? How do you respond to that?
I feel sorry for them because that's judging someone who wants to really help people. Why can't you share your bed? The most loving thing to do is to share your bed with someone. You know?
You really think that?
Yeah, of course.
You're taking the position that you use every single night that you go into your sleep, and you're sharing it with another.
You see, you can have my bed if you want. Sleep in it. I'll sleep on the floor. You can. It's yours. Always give the best to the company. You know, like to him, I said, because he was going to sleep on the floor. I said, no, you sleep in the bed. I'll sleep on the floor.
But haven't you got a spare room or a spare house here where he could have stayed?
Yeah, but no. Yes, we have guest units, but whenever kids come here, they always want to stay with me. They never want to stay in the guest. And I have never invited them in my room. They always just want to stay. They say, can I stay with you tonight? I go, if it's okay with your parents, yes, you can.
That really appropriate for a man?
Right. So the clip on the left was the doctored version on Netflix where they tried to edit it to make it sound like Mike was some type of weirdo. And then obviously the one on the right is the actual footage. But I also hate that interview as a whole, even its authentic version. I hate that interview as a whole because that interviewer is terrible. With other interviews that he's done in the past too. Now, I didn't realize that AF was still saying this dumbass shit. Ah, yes, because the FBI has never gotten anything wrong about blah 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 blah. No, the FBI has never gotten anything wrong, but on a 17-year witch hunt, and that's a witch hunt that you are really trying to pin this person down and all this kind of stuff and all the other stuff that come out. Like I said, I'm not about to get into this because I could be here forever. The same way that you're doing all this goddamn typing in my chat is the same fucking typing you could be doing on Google, the same fucking typing you could be doing on YouTube, the same goddamn typing you could be doing on Chat GPT, Grok, or whatever. Again, like I said at the beginning, whatever the fuck it is that you use. Instead of typing questions into me, type those questions for your curiosity into Google. Type those questions for your curiosity into YouTube. Do your own personal research instead of coming into a chat spewing ignorance where you clearly lack knowledge. If you need knowledge, Google it. Google it. It's out there. It's on the internet. It's wide. You can look it all up. But you rather be in my comment section going off on some weird shit. Do you find this weird? Ah, yes, the FBI this or this and that, arguing with people when you could be using that same strength and energy to Google something. That's weird to me. Weird. But you want to be in here going back and forth with us on what you find weird and what you find strange instead of just Googling it and doing some research and finding out, was this real? Was this not real? Or am I just going on a wild goose chase as well? Get the fuck out of here before you get blocked too. I'm not playing with y'all on Mike. I'm not playing with y'all on Michael Jackson. I'm not. Let's move to the next thing. Next thing we're going to move to is Supergirl, because that is, since we're talking about abysmal stuff, we'll talk about how abysmal that is. He said, "I'm just stating. You're not stating facts. You're stating what you've read. You're stating headlines. You're not stating facts, because if you were stating facts, you'd come in here with fact points. You're stating. There's no links. There's no nothing to what you're saying that tells me that that's fact. That's off the top of your dome. You want to send me a link? You want to send me a something that's going to take me to the fact that you're talking about? Then sure, we can have that factual conversation. But right now, these are not facts. These are words that you're spewing into a stream for chat. That's it. This is not fact. This is your words, not fact. Okay. Now, Supergirl. You know what? The truth does hurt sometimes. You know something else that's truthful? The stream just ended for you. So that's a truth that's going to hurt. All right. Now let's move to Supergirl. All right. Supergirl is in theaters right now. I believe, right? Is Supergirl out now? Let me double check and see if Supergirl is even currently out. Let me see if Supergirl. No. Supergirl releases on the 26th. That's Friday. It releases Friday. I thought it was out because of how bad everybody's talking about it, but I guess it's not out yet. It releases on Friday. So with Supergirl releasing on Friday, of course, the early showings, critics and things like that, they've already gotten to see a lot of the film or all of the film. And this it hasn't been good. The reception online has not been good for it. And I'm not shocked by that. The reception online hasn't been good for it. The reviews so far have not been that great. And this cover from Forbes, Supergirl opening weekend tracking numbers drop ahead of Friday's release. This is what they're saying. The projected box office opening for Millie Alcott's Supergirl is not flying up and up in a way ahead of the film's June 26th release in theaters. That's not good news for the already struggling DC universe superhero film following up to the 2005 Superman, which introduced David Cornsweet, blah, blah, blah. It goes on to say, after all theatrical receipts were counted, Superman, which featured Alcott's Kara in a cameo and revealed that she's the owner, blah, 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 earned $354.2 million from the North American theaters, blah, blah, blah. All right. So this, where's that last part? Okay. While Supergirl's production budget isn't larger than Superman's, given that it's a superhero film, it's pretty sizable. Deadline reported that the film had a production budget of $175 million before marketing costs, $25 million less than the $200 million price tag Forbes Australia reported in December. Gunn disputed that number in threads post, writing not even a little bit true. So maybe. However, the box office projecting at $95 million to $150 million opening weekend over its extended opening weekend, with $75 million to $85 million of that coming in Friday to Sunday frame. Even on the lower end of those projections, the numbers are sure to make for a bumpier flight for Supergirl in its second weekend. And I agree. I mean, here's the thing. We were talking about lesser known characters when it came to Monica Rambeau. And I'm not saying that, obviously, no, Kara in publishing and things like that, in the public court of public opinion, she's not a lesser known character. This is just not a film I would have gone with out right after Superman. It's not a film I would have gone without their Superman. I know I keep saying this, and I'm going to keep saying it because to me, it's the formula. You should have gone with a member of the league. I don't know. Maybe you go with Wonder Woman. Hell, maybe you go with Batman. Maybe you go with The Flash. Maybe you do a Martian Manhunter. Maybe you do an Aquaman. Maybe you go with a member of the league. A member of the league that's a character that people, not to say people don't care about Supergirl, because I like Supergirl as well. I'm not checking for this movie, though. I wasn't knocking down DC's door to make a Supergirl movie like that. That just was not. I don't think it was on many moviegoers' minds. Like, okay, the next film out of Superman should be Supergirl. Like, automatically should just be Supergirl. I don't think that was on many people's minds at all. Supergirl is I just don't understand. I don't understand. I've always said from the beginning too that I didn't think that this was going to do that great. I think that the DCU so far, what they've shown outside of Man of Tomorrow, I think that these are going to be similar numbers based off the projects that they've already announced. I don't think that they're going to see big numbers until they announce big characters. Until you announce big characters, I don't think you're going to see similar. I don't think you're going to see big numbers. Now, Clayface's budget is obviously not this budget, and it comes out around Halloween. Clayface might have a bigger box office than Supergirl. The Jimmy Olsen show, I don't expect that to do well. All the projects that they have announced outside of Man of Tomorrow within the DCU, I don't really expect to do well for them. I really don't. And I know a lot of people look at me crazy and look at me sideways and go up and down and say, "Hey, give us some time. Let Gunn cook. He's still getting time. He's still doing it." They're building. Let him build. I've seen some people telling me that right now they're building, they're fleshing out the villains, and they're going to get the. I don't see any of this stuff working. I don't see any of this stuff working. I don't think that Supergirl is going to have a great first opening weekend. I don't think it's going to have a good theatrical run at all. Yeah, Lanterns, Vaseline. Lanterns is going to do great. I forgot about Lanterns. I now my tune on Lanterns has changed based off that second trailer. Now that first trailer, you couldn't have convinced me Lanterns was going to do that great, but based off of that second trailer, my tune has changed on Lanterns for sure. So outside of Man of Tomorrow and Lanterns, I don't see, because you're getting Jon Stewart there, I don't see DC having the best outing so far. So we'll see how Supergirl does. I'm not checking for Supergirl. It's not one that I plan to see in theaters. I'll probably see that here at home. I don't think that I will see Supergirl in theaters. They did release this clip that I was going to show as well. They released this morning. Let's check out this clip from Supergirl. Actually, before I check out that clip, this is what some of the people were saying. Supergirl isn't even remotely what I was expecting. I assumed that a space superhero movie with a memorable soundtrack would have a tone similar to Guardians of the Galaxy, even Superman. Instead, it looks and plays more like Mad Max movie with grimy worlds, gross villains, and self-destructive hero. First impressions from IndieWire. This one says, I think Gunn is correct to say scripts need to be good before going into production, but I don't think there's need to be more thought into the order. But I do think there needs to be more thought into the order of projects being released, and I couldn't agree more. If Supergirl underperforms and it's good, the issue is it was released 3 to 4 years too early, and I completely agree. Supergirl should not be the next film out. It should not have been the next film out. It should have been 3-4 years down the line. Let's get somebody else in here. We'll see how it does. I'm not expecting Supergirl to do numbers at all. I'm really not. And the numbers really don't lie. I don't know why we like to do this game, this back and forth game of like, oh, it's early. People are. Numbers really don't lie. They really do not. And these are the early projections that we're seeing for the film so far. The film hasn't opened in theaters yet. People still may flock to the theaters to see it. I don't see it. I really don't see it. I don't see people flocking to see Supergirl, but I could eat crow by this time next week, and we'll see what the numbers are going to be. This person said, oh yeah, this is the rumor right now. Supergirl may lose screenings of IMAX if it doesn't perform. And Toy Story continues to be the juggernaut. We have seen what happens to other films recently being dropped for others. And yeah, Toy Story overperformed. Let's put it that way. Toy Story, now granted, Toy Story had its first opening weekend. Supergirl hasn't. Toy Story overperformed though. I think they made $312 million in the opening weekend. And I correct me if I'm wrong. Is that domestically? I think that might have been. I don't know. But I think it was 312 million or something like that. So Toy Story overperformed on what they thought it was going to do. if Toy Story continues to do that and have the legs that it has, I mean, if people that didn't go see it this weekend are likely going to go see it next weekend, and next weekend is going to be for Supergirl. So if I'm personally, I'm telling you this right now, I haven't seen Toy Story yet, and I do want to see Toy Story. So if I go to the theater next weekend or this week or whatever to see Toy Story, blue pill in one hand, red pill in the other, I'm going to see Toy Story. I'm not going to go waste my money to go see Supergirl. I'm going to go see Toy Story. And I think and I could be alone in the boat here. I think a lot of people are going to choose to go see Toy Story over going to see Supergirl. And I think that, again, Toy Story, like they said here in this tweet, it's going to affect Supergirl and may even take its IMAX spot. Like they said, we've seen what happens with films when they're not performing in an IMAX spot. Toy Story is doing great. 160 domestically, so it was at 312 worldwide. Let me check Box Office Mojo again, so I make sure I have these numbers right. Toy Story 5 is sitting 312 worldwide. 312 worldwide. Like Anonymous said, Minions is a week after. I mean, when just in the lineup of films coming out around Supergirl, it's not in a good spot. It's not in a good spot. It's not in a good spot. Those toys are about to fuck her. It's not in a good spot. We got two supers here. So let me address these supers really quickly.
Cost money, beat the charge money, fast money, push the start money, large money.
Arthur said, "Come on, Supergirl is one thing, but DC just starting." Okay. Yeah, Supergirl is just one thing. It's just, hey, it's just one fail. It's just one bomb. Give it time. DC's just starting. It's just one bomb. Give it time. DC's just starting. Just one bomb. They had and I guess I could possibly have that attitude toward it if Superman overperformed. Superman didn't overperform. And because Superman didn't overperform, it had a lot of people like, I personally like Superman though. I like that movie a lot. Blah, blah, blah. Even people saying, which I don't know if there's any merit or truth to this part, but saying that, Man of Tomorrow really needs to do well for Gunn's job. Unless you have inside sources, I mean, I really don't. There's nothing inside sources that have come out to legitimize that, but unless you have inside sources, I really don't know that Gunn's job is in trouble, unless, again, you're kind of just thinking pragmatically. It might be in trouble. I'm not really sure, but I could have this attitude that Arthur has if Superman overperformed, but it simply did not overperform. And I could also have this attitude that Arthur has if the lineup of projects after Supergirl were, okay, banger, hitter, banger, great character. People love that character. Oh yeah, this world, that, like, but it's not. The lineup, I want to make sure I have these correct here. DCU announced projects. This was 6 days ago. Okay. So the lineup after Supergirl goes Clayface, Man of Tomorrow, well, no, this is DCU. I'm not trying to do DC. Okay. The Brave and the Bold, which is to be announced. So these are in no order. I guess. I think Clayface and Man of Tomorrow are in the correct order, but the rest of these, because Brave and the Bold doesn't have a release date. So Brave and the Bold, Teen Titans, and let me see what that says here. Teen Titans are also getting a big screen movie from the DC studios, per Hollywood Reporter. Now, this article is 6 days old, so this is relatively recent. Per the Hollywood Reporter, the project is being written by the same woman that wrote Supergirl, and she's writing Wonder Woman. So James must really like her. Let me see. Yeah. She wrote Supergirl, and she's writing Wonder Woman, and I guess she's writing the Teen Titans movie as well. So Gunn must really, really like her. Wonder Woman, the Swamp Thing, the Authority, Dynamic Duo, Lanterns. I don't know why they got Waller on here, but Waller, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, My Adventures with Green Lantern. I'm just trying to stay strictly DCU. Paradise Lost. What the fuck? According to Gunn, Paradise Lost is set to be a Game of Thrones-esque series about the Amazons and Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman's home, the Mascara. While we know next to nothing about the plot, the filmmaker says the story will feature all the darkness and drama and political intrigue you can imagine goes on within a society of only women. How did this society of women come about? What does it mean? What are their politics like? What are their rules? He said it's an overarching themes. Who is in charge? What are all the games that they play with each other to get to the top? No updates on this. Not updates on this one in a while, other than Gunn telling Entertainment Weekly that it was slowly moving, but it's moving. I think that's it. That's it. So, out of these ones that we know things about, I know the Teen Titans one's real because the writer for Supergirl and Wonder Woman is really, she's working on that. She actually talked about that when she talked about Wonder Woman not too long ago. Wonder Woman, what they say here, James Gunn has revealed that Wonder Woman movie, seemingly separate from Gal Gadot's stint and role, is in the works while the CEO, DC and DCU Studios president was reluctant to add more. Casting appears to be way off. He did confirm that the new Wonder Woman movie is being written right now in an interview with Entertainment Weekly. So, don't know when Wonder Woman's coming, but Wonder Woman, that would be the only thing out of all of those named, because Brave and the Bold has nothing. We know nothing when that's coming. We know Batman 2 is coming next. Know nothing about Brave and the Bold. So out of that slate there, you have, which they didn't put on here, but the Jimmy Olsen show, I believe, after Clayface and all that, is going to be next. So coming off of, it'd be different if you were doing Wonder Woman after Supergirl, or if you were doing, one of the heavy hitters after Supergirl. But I believe we're going to go Clayface. We're going to go Clayface, and after we go Clayface, we're going to go Jimmy. Then after we go Jimmy, the Lanterns will come in. The Lanterns come in August, so we'll have them in August. But the slate there is not promising. It's not building this fantastical, amazing world. I have no doubt. Hey, people may love it. Got another Super 2. Let's address that one.
Last night took a L, but tonight I bounce back. Wake up every morning, by the night I count stacks.
Vaseline said, will Supergirl make more than Mando movie? I think so. Maybe. But I do think so. Star Wars is in a worse place than DC. So yeah, I think so. I think I might make more than the Mando movie. What is the Mando movie even doing right now? I don't even care to look it up. Don't really care to look it up. Lawrence said Toy Story 5 was good. Okay, but yeah, you guys let me know what you guys are thinking about Supergirl. Is Supergirl one that you're going to go check out in theaters? Is it one that, have you seen the trailers? Has the trailers moved the needle for you? Have the TV spots moved the needle for you? You guys let me know what you guys are thinking. While you guys are doing that, let's go ahead and look at that. Here, this is a clip that they released. I might not be able to do this clip. This is from Warner Brothers. I don't want to do this clip. If it was from like Netflix or something like that, I might have done it. I don't want to do that clip because Warner Brothers is going to strike it. So you guys let me know what you guys are thinking. Let's look at the comments here. Let them cook, Darius. Yeah, you know what? Let them cook. I'm gonna keep letting them cook. I've been at my table waiting for a long time, but I'm gonna keep letting them cook. DC just starting. Abundance said, who asked for this movie? We want the big three. Yeah. Lauren said, I think more than the Marvels, but less than Black Widow. That's actually a very good measurement there. Arthur said, I'm just saying, how many trash movies has MCU put out, but you're still looking forward to the X-Men from them? Be fair, please. Arthur, brother, I wish you would have came in on the, I know you didn't come in on the Michael conversation because I guess finally realized that you were absolutely wrong. I don't know when I'm going to get you to the point on DC to realize that you're wrong, but we'll get there too. I don't know when, but we'll get there too. However, when it comes to what you just compared to the MCU and the X-Men, please be fair. And I'm still looking forward to the X-Men. Please be fair. Okay, let's be fair. I think the DCU right now is shit, but I'm still looking forward to the Justice League. Does that make you feel any better? To make you feel any better? Since I guess the MCU put out trash shit and I'm still looking forward to the X-Men. Is that fair enough? I think the DCU currently, as it stands, is a shitter, but I'm looking forward to the Justice League. Does that make you feel any better? I hope so. Pluto said, LOL, I mean, Marvel had 3 bombs before Avengers. I mean, yeah, I don't know why people like to do that. People love to pretend like phase 1 of Marvel, or let's see, let me not even put phase 1 of Marvel. The Infinity Saga was just terrible until you get to Infinity War and Endgame and Black Panther and some, and like it's not. I think that the MCU Infinity War saga has some shitters in there. Like, I'm not a fan of Ant-Man or Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm not a fan of Thor 1. Yeah, there's some in those that I'm not a fan of. But when I take a look back, when I sit down in my chair and I sit back and I look at the Infinity Saga as a whole, it's brilliant. Now, what you could say to that is, well, Darius, you can't sit back and look at the DCU as a whole yet because there's not enough projects. However, unlike Marvel, unlike DC, when Marvel handed us their slate of upcoming projects, people were like, "Oh my gosh!" You don't remember? Let's jog some memories. I know people like to forget, and Arthur, you're young, so maybe you don't remember. So let's jog some memories. Let's jog some memories here. MCU. What would this be? MCU. So when Marvel, let me make sure I get, that's not the MCU. Let me see. All right. So when Marvel dropped their MCU phase 2, this was phase 2. This was phase 2. I hate Thor and Dark World. I don't like Iron Man 3. You got Winter Soldier, not a big fan of Ant-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Age of Ultron. 3 bangers, in my opinion. Now, other people might think that these 3 movies, Ant-Man and Iron Man 3 and Thor, are good. However, you can't compare Iron Man 3, Thor the Dark World, or Ant-Man to Jimmy Olsen, to Clayface, Booster Gold, a Waller series, even though I love Viola Davis, or any of those other things that I announced for DC. So yeah, the people like to pretend as if the phase 1, 2, 3, and 4 Marvel were just until you get to Infinity War. It's just so hard to watch. It's not. Again, when you compare that slate, the Infinity War slate, up against the slate that James Gunn's currently got going, it's different. It's not the same. Grand Regent Thrag said Game of Thrones episode 1, Sheesh. Yes. Now, here's the thing about Paradise Lost. If he can actually do that, if that's what's taking so long to where you're trying to really get that Game of Thrones-esque feeling, because even House of the Dragon doesn't have that. If you can get that Game of Thrones feeling, I'm locked in. I'm dialed, locked in. I would love to see that. I was always excited for Paradise Lost before the synopsis in general, because anyway, I was always excited in that. So hopefully, if they can actually pull that off, that sounds like that might actually be pretty good. Ricardo said, "We cool with movies bombing now." Hey, it's okay. It's one bomb. Lawrence said, "Also, it takes longer to remove someone from the top," but he did say, "Did you see how many misses Kevin had?" Yeah. Yeah. Granger Thwack said, "I feel rushed to push Supergirl." Oh, I was wondering when Battery was going to come in. All it took, say some negative things, say something negative about Gunn or the DCU more than 3 times, and he shall appear. Here comes Battery. Gunn isn't going anywhere, Darius. Your boy Filoni just put out a stinker bomb, and he's still employed at Disney. You're so hilarious, Battery. You are hilarious, brother. You are hilarious. I knew if I said enough bad things about Gunn in the DCU, I could earth you. I could summon you. And I'm so glad I got you to come. And the example that you used comparing Filoni to Gunn is hilarious. Hilarious. We've heard, I don't know how much you're online, Battery, and I don't know how much you get into the thick of things. We've heard reports from credible insiders that Dave was against The Mandalorian and Grogu becoming a film. That there were several people in the Lucasfilm room while Kathy was still there that were on certain sides of the room and others that were on the other side of the room. And according to very credible insiders, grain of salt, believe what you want, Dave was on the other side of the room opposed to Kathy with certain projects that didn't need to be coming to light. And apparently The Mandalorian and Grogu was one. Now, is Dave going to do what he has to do as president and get out there and smile in front of cameras and say this and say that and blah, blah, blah? Of course he is. And you said he's still employed by Disney after The Mandalorian and Grogu bombed, as if he had been employed for Disney for 5-6+ years. Brother, he got the president job this year or late last year. This is the first project out under his name, and it wasn't even a project that was announced under his name as president. It was a project announced under Kennedy's name as president. So you're trying to put that'd be like me taking the Flash bombing and putting it on James Gunn and saying, "Oh, well, he already had the Flash bomb. That's on Gunn." I'm not going to put that on Gunn because that wasn't under Gunn. That wasn't under Gunn. Although Gunn went on to call it one of the greatest superhero films he had ever seen, I'm not putting that on Gunn. Although Dave said that he liked The Mandalorian and Grogu, I'm not putting that on Dave because that wasn't under Dave. That was under Kathleen Kennedy. Written, signed, released. Send it to the theaters. Before Dave could even say, "I object. You're not president. We don't give a fuck what you object. I'm the president. I'm going to leave this long-lasting, stinky-ass fart in the room with the Mandalorian and Grogu, and you can deal with it when you're president." So the fact that you're comparing Dave Filoni's Mandalorian and Grogu under Kathleen Kennedy to the abysmal shit that we're watching right now with your good buddy James Gunn, hilarious. Hilarious. What else can I say to summon you, Battery? What else can I say to summon you today? Abundance said, "We won't get Brave and the Bold until Batman 2 drops." Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree with there, Grand Regent Thrag. Oh, yeah. Abundance said, "DCU is doing the same thing they did last time, just freestyling." Lawrence said, "You know what else she wrote?" I don't. You didn't say. Pluto said, excuse me, "It'll probably be Paradise Lost and Wonder Woman movie in 28, Brave and the Bold, maybe late 28, 29. James knows he needs the Trinity to start forming next year. He does need that Trinity." Ready for Lanterns. I agree. Abundance said, "The last time Supergirl was on the big screen was in The Flash." Who's this movie for? see. The Black Bleach said, "Where's Waller?" I don't know. Or Booster Gold. Don't know. I'm not checking for, to be honest, either. I think Viola Davis is fantastic in the role of Waller, and I don't want her to lose that role as Waller. I want her to remain as Waller. I don't know that we need a Waller series. I just don't know that that's needed. Lawrence said, they about to lose all the Superman buzz. Anonymous said, I'm going to check it out since I have a list, but I'm not going to rush to go see it. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Andre said, I do want to see Supergirl in theaters. Some of the like I said, a lot of them comparing it to like Mad Max and stuff like that. Maybe it has that theater draw to where, it looks great on the big screen. Oh, sorry. Lawrence said, Arthur, when you are first and you get hit after hit, people want the old thing back. DC never did great outside of Batman, Superman, Wonder Man, and Aquaman. No. Pluto said, LOS, dears chill. I'm just asking phase 1 box office. I got you. Lauren said Marvel was bangers from 2008 to No Way Home. Andre said, I know that James Gunn should have come with the heavy hitters from Justice League, but I'm okay with him doing with what he's doing because all the projects have been good so far. Yes, we shall see. We shall see. Do More Research said DC has access to all their characters, and the best they can do is Jimmy Olsen's show in a Clayface movie before even seeing Batman. I think again, it's not I think that's my thing. That's what I keep saying. That's what I keep saying. And if this was like if this was years ago, bro, I'd be like, oh, fine, whatever, Jimmy Olsen, I'm cool with that. That it seems like that might be all right. Gorilla Grodd, yay. But where we are currently, where I am currently, I don't want to say where we are, where I am currently, I don't care. I don't give a good goddamn. I don't give a good goddamn about a Jimmy Olsen show. When you said what you started your sentence with, they have access to all their characters, all of them. They have access to everyone. But we're pushing a Jimmy Olsen show. Let's see. Scroll down a little bit. I see some stuff about Creature Commandos, people saying that it was good. You guys like Creature Commandos. Good. I'm glad you guys did. Let's see. Scrolling down a little bit more. Sorry. Bucky Love said, yeah, that was Darth Kennedy. Yeah, that's not. So that's a KK film. That ain't. And again, if you believe the insiders, Dave was against it anyway. But again, believe what you want. Lauren said, like when James Gunn came at the end of DCU, he said we won't see his Star Wars until after Starfighter. Yes, like when James Gunn came after. Yes, exactly. Your first glimpse of your first glimpse into Dave as president of Lucasfilm is Ahsoka season 2. It starts there. So anything before that, that's not. And I feel like that battery. I feel like you know that. Like those projects like Starfighter, even though Maul Shadow Lord was successful, that wasn't under Dave. I can't give that to Dave. Like he wrote it. He helped write it. I can't give all that. Who approved it was KK. KK approved Shadow Lords. She's the president. She approved it. When Shadow Lords came across her desk, she took her pen. She said, yes, while you do Shadow Lords, put Grogu back with Mando and make it a movie. I mean, she was the president. She made the calls. Arthur said, why does Filoni get no blame, but Gunn receives all the blame? He didn't even direct the Supergirl movie, Darius. Really unfair. Gunn gets the blame because he's the goddamn president. Because he's the goddamn president. If Supergirl were under Walter Hamada and it was under him before, and they released it, and that was something, a film that they said, hey, this film's already in production. This film's we've already got the money for it. We've already done the casting for it. We've already got the writing. The script is in. We've got film already. When James takes over, Supergirl is still gonna happen. If that were the case, I'd be like, you know what? Supergirl ain't James. That ain't on James. That was under Walter and them. Walter and them said, hey, before James gets in here, we're releasing Supergirl. But that wasn't the case, Arthur. Like, come on, brother. That wasn't the case. When James stepped into the room, any DC projects that he brought to light were him. Nothing was left over from the DCEU. He didn't have contractual things he needed to do besides the shit with Reeves. He didn't have anything that he had to do. This was all him. This was all fresh. This was all new. This was from the ground up. That's why it's different. When Dave came in, projects were already made. Projects were already full steam ahead because Kathy said, my fart will be smelt. My fart will be dealt. That I just don't. That's how it's different. Gunn said The Flash was one of the greatest comic movies he's ever seen. He did say that. Lawrence said Arthur. Oh yeah, okay. Pluto said the writer for Booster Gold turned in his pilot last month too. Yay. Bucky Love said Waller storyline will play out in Peacemaker. I'll see it if my son wants to go, but yikes. Supergirl. That's what he's talking about. Another super here. Let's address that one.
Do it right, do it left, do it right, do it left, do it right, do it.
Battery said you need to let Gunn cook. What is that? Oh, Superman 2 is popping off soon. Don't be swayed by a single movie that Gunn didn't even direct, brother. Wonder Man on the way. I like Superman, so I don't know why y'all keep bringing up Superman. I'm looking forward to Superman 2. I want to make sure. I'm looking forward to Superman 2. Darius, G. Willikers, why? I don't know. Maybe because it's Superman. Maybe because it's one of the members of the league. Maybe because other members of the league are possibly showing up. Well, Darius, why don't you care about Supergirl? Why aren't you letting Gunn cook with Supergirl? Even though he didn't direct it. Because he approved it. Darius, but he didn't direct it. He approved it. He approved it. He approved it. It came across his desk. He took out his pen and approved it. He said, yes. Full steam ahead. More Kara. He approved it. I don't care if he didn't direct it. He approved it. And I'm excited for Superman 2. I want to see Superman 2. I thoroughly enjoyed the first Superman. I think there's a disconnect every time I talk about DC. Even if Gunn didn't direct it, Supergirl, he still approved Supergirl, and Supergirl right now, numbers wise, is projecting not great. And you want to know why Supergirl is projecting not great right now, numbers wise? Is because no one's checking for Supergirl. Yeah, you have yourself and a few others that are going to go see this movie, but by and large, when it's all said and done, the theatrical run for Supergirl is not going to be one to brag about. The events of Supergirl is not going to be one to brag about. The thing I've seen the most that's gotten praise from Supergirl is Jason Momoa, Lobo. And I can definitely see that. He looks the part. He sounds the part. All boxes checked. He looks great as Lobo. But is that enough of a draw to have me go spend money on a ticket over those damn toys? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. So, yeah, I'm gonna let him cook. Let him cook. I've been letting him cook. I've been seated at my table since the first Superman. I fear that my food is overcooked at this point because I've been letting him cook and cook and cook and cook. How long is it gonna take Gunn to cook before we start to eat? My stomach is touching my back at this point, but we'll see. We'll see. Blue said Jimmy O. I'm not about to play with you, Blue. Pete, are we talking about Safran? I mean, Safran's the behind the scenes guy. If Safran was on Twitter and Threads and Instagram and whatever, telling people to go back to their mother's basement like Gunn and lying online like Gunn, and when I say lying, I wish I could find that video. I've never been able to find that video. If somebody ever finds that video, please expeditiously send it to me. Please. Josh over at the Dinner Nerds showed an 8-minute video. He did not show it was on YouTube, and I don't know why he didn't show the name of the YouTube video or who the channel was. But that person took it upon themselves to compile an 8-minute video of several different screenshots. 8 minutes, by the way, of screenshots. It's not like this is not video with footage. This is screenshots that took 8 minutes of Gunn just constantly lying. And then the funny thing about that video is, with his lie, they were able to show the truth. So they would show the lie, then they would show, okay, well, this is what actually happened, and this is what's actually. So Gunn just lies and lies and lies and lies and goes at people and lies. And I like Gunn. I like James Gunn. I don't dislike James Gunn. I don't go at. That's why I go after Gunn and not Peter. Peter keeps his mouth shut. Bucky said, "Who greenlit Doomsday, Iger or Chapek?" I would say that was Chapek, was it not? Was Iger gone by that time? I think that was Chapek. Blue said, "Who has more power, Pete or Jimmy?" Wait, what are we talking about? We're not talking about Safran. Oh no, Pete or Jimmy, as in James Gunn. Jimmy. I'd say James does. I think Peter's just there in name and suit. Obviously, Peter does shit, but Peter's there in name and suit, and he does his dealings in the backgrounds. James is there and everything else. Abundance says James fumbled all the goodwill Penguin gave DC. See, I didn't watch it. Pluto said, the funny thing is Supergirl was a DCEU movie, but James read, was it, on a script and said, this great, but not the direction we're going, and gave her Woman of Tomorrow to adapt scripts that, and that's how that got made. Oh, there it is. So again, he liked it, tweaked it, approved it. Lawrence said, but with that said, Supergirl shouldn't have been movie 2 over Big 3. That's it too. I don't. Not so much the Supergirl's being made. It's literally the second movie out. It's like what the fuck. Pluto said so. James has even more ownership than just approving it. Yeah, he's the president. Oh, ownership of Supergirl. I see what you're saying. Abundant Superman was better than F4. Yes, I had a better time. For me. Arthur said, I see your point, Darius. So if Starfighter is dog crap and Ahsoka season 2 suck, I won't be on Filoni for Starfighter. Starfighter was not approved under Filoni. If Ahsoka season 2 is trash, you're gonna hear me go at Filoni. I don't know why y'all think that y'all are funny, bro. I've gone at Filoni so many times. I love Dave. I think Dave understands Star Wars, but I have gone at Dave so many times. I don't even know why I even have to say this because I've said it before. Ahsoka season 2 is not good. I've said that. I've said that. It has moments. It has moments where it's like peak, great, fantastic. But by and large, it sucks. And I've said that over. So I don't know why y'all want this tit for tat thing with me. Why? Like, well, you said something mean about James, so you better go say something mean about somebody you like. I like James. I like James. But when I criticize James, y'all want me to then go criticize Dave Filoni. He has nothing for me to criticize yet. The projects released with him as president currently, he did not sign off on. Therefore, I cannot criticize him for something he didn't approve or have any involvement in. Ahsoka season 2, I will criticize him if it's bad. Would that make you happy, Arthur? If I threw a Dave Filoni hate stream and just glazed gun, would that make you just a little bit better? Jart said, please call this movie Man of Tomorrow and not disrespect Superman 2. Man of Tomorrow. Let's see. Eugene said, plus Supergirl is in a bad release spot. That too. Big bad release spot. Jart said she wasn't likable in Superman and no one is checking for her. I won't say she wasn't likable in Superman. I didn't say she didn't really give me much to like or dislike in Superman, but no one's checking for her. That's it. Pluto, if I walk away from Supergirl like I did Ant-Man, I'll be happy. That barely beat its budget too. Which Ant-Man? Quantumania? I did not walk away from Quantumania happy. I walked away from Quantumania wanting my fucking money back. Abundance said, she shows up, calls Clark a bitch, and we're supposed to be excited to spend time with her. Arthur also said, they are partners, Darius. Peter's just as much in charge as DC is Gunn, yet Gunn receives all the backlash. I mean, I don't really know what you want me to say to that. They're partners. I mean, if you think that, I don't have any evidence to this or proof, so I can't really. I don't have any evidence or proof to this. I just personally don't believe that Peter Safran is making that is. I don't personally believe when it comes to characters and projects that James Gunn wants to do in his universe that he is calling Peter and saying, "What do you think, Pete?" I think Peter is clued in on conversations, like on the bigger conversations. However, when it comes to the inception of projects, I do not think Peter has a say if James Gunn wants to do, let's go with his favorite, Batmite. Say James Gunn announces tomorrow a Batmite film. I don't think he called Pete the night before and said, hey, Pete, my good buddy, I'm thinking about doing this Batmite film. What's on your brain? I don't think that he's doing that. I don't. I think that he personally, being the president of a studio, Peter's there in name, suit only, in my opinion, because you don't hear from Peter. And maybe that's just because he wants to be left behind the scenes. But I don't believe James is calling him up and saying, hey, yeah, what do you think, bro? I'm going to do this film. What do you think? I think once James decides he's going to do this film, he slides it over to Peter and says, hey, this is the next slate of films we're doing, blah, blah, blah. And then Peter's like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. I'm the money guy. I'm the advertising guy. I'm the behind the scenes guy. Let me make your list happen. I don't think he's getting the list. Peter's not getting the list back and saying, nope. Replace that Martian Manhunter. Nope, not that one. Oh, I don't want to see that character. And let's move this from November to February. Look at that, James, and then we'll talk. I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's happening. Lawrence, Grace Randolph hates James Gunn with a passion because of the way he read her on Twitter. Yes, so does Josh. Ricardo said, does Gunn still want Ezra for Flash because he did say he was keeping him? I don't know. I don't know. Where's Ezra even been? Okay, I got a super here. Let's address this super. Vaseline said, I agree with you mostly about Gunn, but he needs time. Time. I'm not. So I want to make this clear too. I'm not saying I'm not trying to give Gunn time. I just think he's using his time not wisely. I still think Supergirl should not have been the next film. The next film after Supergirl is Clayface. That's the next film, not the next project, but the next film after Supergirl is Clayface. And I don't think that should be the next film either. And according to Gunn, Clayface is the film that starts the DCU. Like if you look at the chronological timeline, Clayface starts the DCU. Blue said, hey, we got to figure out this. We do. I was ready. I was ready to talk some shit last night too, Blue. But we do got to figure it out because we got to figure it out. We got to figure it out because I'm trying to do these after show live streams because I had so much I wanted to say last night. Arthur said, yes, Darius, please call balls and strikes, sir. I think potential is really there for Gunn. DC just needs to cook. You know, potential's. The potential of me getting out of this chair and falling is high. The potential of me walking out of my house, driving in my car and wrecking is possible. The potential of rainfall today is possible. The potential that I'm going to eat at some point today, it's possible. So yeah, I get what you're saying about the potential is really there. But when I'm looking at, again, the next film after Supergirl is Clayface. Darius, I sent my Supergirl receipts where I was invited by WB. Wait, what? On the Tiki Talk. Oh, I see. What is this? They invited you for a screening, or you paid for this? Oh, you see it today. Oh, you see it today. Well, you have to let me know what you thought. You have to let me know what you thought since you're seeing it so much earlier. Definitely let me know what you thought about it. It's pretty cool. I've always wanted to do one of those. I've never gotten to do one of those. I've seen like early showings. Like I wanted to do the Brand New Day Tuesday showing, but brother, those tickets were after tax $50. What? I better be able to shoot webs by the time I come out of the theater for $50. That's fucking insane. I've always wanted to do one of those though. Free. Pluto said QB gets most of the blame. Arthur, that's just how it goes. When yep. When things go right, the Glazers won't bring up Safran either. No, There's no point to bring up Safran. There's no point to bring up Safran. When I'm talking, if I'm talking about the Lakers, Phil Jackson's era, and I'm talking coaching, I'm not bringing up the assistant coaches. If something goes on wrong on the Lakers floor during Phil Jackson's era of coaching, I'm not looking at the assistant coach. I'm not looking at him and saying, you drew up some bullshit. He's not the head honcho. He's not the one standing. He's not the one talking. He's not the one in interviews. He's not the one in inserting his opinion to randos on Twitter. That's James Gunn. Battery says, that's a good point, Arthur. This is a duo. Wonder Man with Adriana is going to be amazing, as will GL with Mufasa. Blue said, Pete has been making his rounds lately. He isn't as vocal as Gunn, but he talks. Man, if we're talking about that one interview that he's done recently, that one on a red carpet for Supergirl, that don't count. That's not what I'm talking about. When Peter Safran gets on Twitter and tells the scooper that they're lying about something that was obviously in the film and tells them to go back to their mother's basement, then I will add Peter in conversation. When Peter gets on Threads and goes through random comments and comments back to somebody with 5 followers and 2 pictures on Instagram and gives them a novel of an explanation that he didn't need to give, then I will add Peter. When Peter Safran gets online and chronically goes at YouTubers for leaking information about, then I will go at Peter. Until Peter gets online and does the shit that James Gunn does, I don't have shit to say about Peter Safran because he makes himself scarce. I can't. No, I don't care if they're co-CEOs. No, Peter keeps his mouth shut. He keeps his fucking mouth shut. If let's put it this way. If you're arguing with somebody, if the person you're arguing with on the phone isn't talking all that shit, but they got somebody in the background on the phone being loud as fuck, talking all this noise, when you pull up, you're going to be like, I want to talk to the person that was talking all that goddamn shit. I want to talk to the person that was so loud in the back. I don't need to talk to the person that was mute, that was saying nothing, that was just sitting on the phone. I want to talk to the person with the mouth. So why would I then insert Peter where Peter doesn't need to be inserted? He has said nothing. He said nothing. Y'all want me to say something bad about Peter and join him in because y'all's weird shit for James Gunn. I won't do it. I won't do it. Jimmy Olsen show. I'm not reading that. I saw Incredible. I'm not playing that game with you, with any of y'all. I'm not doing it. Ricardo said, if I hear the phrase, let him cook one more time, I'm telling you, let James Gunn cook. That shit is just crazy. What film would you want next? I've said this. I don't care. A League member. At this point, I don't give a fuck if it's Aquaman. A League member. Pluto. Yeah, critics and fan screenings hopping all day long. Lawrence said, I have a list too, but I will just go to this and let you guys know a non-spoiler review. What's up, NYC? Appreciate you being here. Blue said, Peter is an assistant, though. I know he's not an assistant. I know that.
He just doesn't talk. That's it. He keeps his mouth shut. He doesn't go on Twitter tangents. He doesn't attack Instagram users. He doesn't attack scoopers. He just keeps his mouth shut, and he might randomly give you a sentence or two on a red carpet. That's it. That's it. That's it. James won't do that. James is going to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk until he talks himself into a hole. I'm not saying Peter is not his co-CEO. I still don't believe he's handing Peter fucking documents telling him, do you think that this movie's a good idea? I think he's going to do whatever movie he wants. But by and large, Peter, until you guys even bring up Peter Safran, out of sight, out of mind, I don't think about him. I don't think about Peter Safran until y'all bring him up. Lawrence said, no one talks about Louis Despacito, who is... Thank you, Lawrence! Thank you, Lawrence! Somebody with some goddamn sense. Thank you, Lawrence! I have never... I'm trying to remember. I have never brought up Louis. Never. Maybe if we're talking about Spider-Man, I might bring the brother up. But when we have talked about the failures of Marvel, never once has Despacito, he's never been mentioned. Ever. Bro. Lou is exactly right, Darius. Safran is making bigger comments lately. Pull him up, Arthur. Y'all be trying to gaslight me. Pull him up, Arthur. I'll pull up one for you because I got it saved. And you want to know why I saved it? Because it's one of the rare fucking times he spoke. That's why I saved it. So I saved it. Let's watch it together.
Talked about the Gorilla Grodd show for HBO that we'll start shooting this year. Well, that's big news, by the way. Yeah. I probably shouldn't have said that.
Peter, nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you too. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Great. Happy to be in Brazil.
We have Supergirl. We also have this year Lanterns, Clayface,
yes.
And already shooting we have Man of Tomorrow and the Batman Part 2. You guys in DC are
we've been busy.
Yeah,
we've been busy.
You're making a lot. When do we can have a Justice League movie, a new Justice League for you, DCU?
We know eventually you head in that direction, but we really are just talking about those movies that we've announced and those projects that we've announced. Supergirl, Lanterns for HBO, Clayface this fall, Man of Tomorrow, Batman Part 2. You know we're going to do Raven the Bold, introducing Batman into the DCU. We talked about the Gorilla Grodd show for HBO that we'll start shooting this year. Well, that's big news, by the way. Yeah. I probably shouldn't have said that. But in terms of what goes on beyond that, we'll talk about that when the time is right. But it's really important for us, like with everything, to get the scripts right, to get the story right. We're not in any rush. We want to do it right. We want to do it well. We want the stories to be crafted in a beautiful fashion. And, having a creative visionary like James Gunn.
Okay. Yeah, so one of the rare times he speaks. So yeah, Arthur, I implore you, brother, can you send me a link to the other times lately that Safran has spoken? Because I guess I miss it. I'm chronically online, but I guess I miss it. Please show me where Safran has gone on tangents about what's to come, about what we're currently looking at in the DCU. Louis D is not CEO. Feige is the sole CEO of Marvel. Wrong. Marvel doesn't have a sole CEO. It's split into divisions. Marvel does not have a co-CEO or a one big CEO. Their leadership is divided into different roles. That's where you got Brad Winterbaum, you've got Kevin Feige, who is the president, but you got Brad Winterbaum, who is the head of television. The rest of them, David, whatever his last name is, that's over like the comics franchise, he reports to Winterbaum. You got Lewis, who's there, and all that kind of stuff. But they don't have a sole CEO. And you can Google that shit. You can Google that shit. So don't try to tell me I'm wrong. Google it. Google that shit. It's Googleable. Darius ain't gonna invite me back. No. Pluto said, Laughing House, of these everyday streams gonna be the death of me. Battery said, now you're upset that Gunn is active on social media. Is that the beef? His work should do the talking, Darius. That's all I care about. Jesus Christ, Battery. Jesus Christ. Sometimes I don't care if I don't know if this is satire or if this is genuine. My beef is not that he's active on social media. Holy fuck. And the funny thing is, I've said this before many times, actually. My beef is not that he's on social media. My beef is that he's active on social media and trying to debunk shit that's like, example, Josh over at the Den of Nerds, or let's not use Josh. Let's use Austin. Austin, his last name starts with an M. He's one of the scoopers. Austin, before the first Superman movie came out, scooped that there was going to be a conflict in the Middle East and blah, 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 blah. James Gunn ripped him apart. James Gunn James Gunn publicly debunked a rumor that the Superman film featured a storyline about the terrorist threat in the Middle East. When a fan who was a scooper directly asked him on social media to clarify the plot leak, Gunn shut it down by saying it isn't true and urged fans not to believe baseless internet claims. Then went on to completely attack Austin, however you pronounce his last name. So I don't have an issue with James Gunn being online. I don't give a fuck what he does with his time. It's when he's online and he's going at YouTubers, telling them to stay in their mom's basement, going at Grace, going at Austin, going at random people on Instagram or Threads or whatever social media is just pick poison for the day. I don't have a problem with him being online. Be online. But when he's online and he's attacking people that are for shit that's true, by the way, for shit that's true, I think we've even had the conversation because people were like, I wish Kevin Feige would do. I'm glad I'm glad we don't know shit about Feige. We don't need to know shit about Feige. He just needs to be doing whatever the fuck he's doing as president. Ira said, I forgot Peter was even a thing until I'm telling you, Ira, that's how it should be. That's how it should be. I didn't even know the brother's voice sounded like that. That's how it should be. Blue said the chat is filling in for chill today. Huh. Louis D is not CEO. Feige is sole CEO of Marvel. This is I read that. Yeah, like I said, Google that. Google that. Damn, that's a harsh way to say that, Abundance. Arthur said, that video you played is lately, Darius. He'll be more present. So one video? Okay, let me see. When did James Gunn and when did James Gunn, and let's add Peter Safran. Peter Safran, take over DC. In 2022. So in 3 years, that's all he said, Arthur, as of lately. In 3 years, that's the lately you're pointing to for Peter Safran? In 3 years of him and Gunn being co-CEOs? In 3 years, that's the lately you're pointing to that he's given us insight? Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I that's not, I mean, man, I thought y'all were gonna give me like, oh, he said like 2 or 3 other things in other interviews that might have slipped my vision or something like that. You talking about in 3 years, he said that. Okay. Oh, if there were a sole CEO, then the Netflix series would have never happened. Feige always threatened them like stepchildren. The Black Beach said pro-empowered Puffy or bro-empowered Puffy. Pluto said it's up for you when Darius goes silent to get evidence. Iris said, I'm actually happy that Marvel doesn't have a sole CEO and is split up in divisions that makes the company more diverse. Great. Yeah, Grace did deserve hers, but still. The Black Beach said, no, Feige was treated like a stepchild. Feige was under Ike Perlmutter. Yes, he was. Battery said, okay, I forgot that happened. Gunn can definitely jump at people's throats online and lie. Yeah, I don't care if he wants to get online and tweet the letter A every day. I don't give a fuck. If he wants to get online and show his morning routine, get ready with me, I don't give a fuck. But when you are online going at scoopers, reporting some shit that got out of your studio, when you're upset that it got out of your studio, that sounds like the phone calls coming from inside the house, brother. What are you yelling at Austin for? NYC said Grace deserves all that smoke and hatred. Yeah, she might have deserved that one. Ricardo said James is a little too bold online considering his past with social media. That too. Lawrence Report said Peter stays behind the scenes, only talks in interviews. Lawrence also said, right, because in film one guy is the business, the other is the creative. Pluto said, laugh myself, Arthur, he was at Superman last year too. Nobody gave a fuck. This is the only getting traction because James is filming. So we take what Peter says as stuff he's already discussed with James. Boom. That's what I see. This is stuff Peter's. That's what I see, brother. I see exactly what you're saying, Pluto. Exactly that. Exactly that. I didn't even know Peter Safran was at the fucking Superman shit. No one talks to him. I missed the Gunn versus Josh beef. Oh, Josh milked the fuck out of it, so. All right. Are we done? Are we done? Are we done? Do we have to continue to talk about, because I know every time DC is a topic, Jesus, here comes the tangents. I already know. So I'm just making sure we're done before we move to the last thing here, which I'm doing exactly what I didn't want to do. We are now at 2 hours and goddamn 30 minutes, about to be 3 hours. I got to do a better job at this. I got to do a better job at time management and not let you sidetrack me. But I love the conversation. It's always fun. It's always fun. All right. Hot D. Hot D, hot D, hot D. House of the Dragon, Season 3, Episode 1. That the trailer leading up to it, phenomenal. That line that everybody has been using and playing on their TikTok reels or whatever. Bring Aegon, the usurper, to me. That man, that's such a the way they split her that dialogue up in the trailer with scenes in between each. Bring Aegon, then scene the usurper, then scene to me, then oh man, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. I love House of the Dragon. Love it, love it, love it. I think that House of the Dragon, obviously it's not Game of Thrones. Nothing that they've done in this universe has touched Game of Thrones yet. Even them saying that, because the reports came in before this episode came out. It was 72 minutes long. It was great. I love the length of it. They were saying that it's the most ambitious and biggest and bloodiest battle that TV or for TV, I think they said. I don't know if that was more just lip service, because I didn't feel that. Am I the only one that didn't feel that? I loved it. I thought the Battle of the Gullet was good, but it didn't have me on the edge of my seat like Battle of the Bastards or the Red Wedding. Even though the Red Wedding wasn't like a battle or anything like that, it didn't have me on the edge of my seat like some of those quintessential Game of Thrones battles. And I felt like this was really going to go up there with like Battle of the Bastards. Like this was going to, and maybe for you it did. For me personally, it just did not. Didn't take away my love for this episode. I still loved this episode, but I was expecting the Gullet to be like I read it. If you've read the books, I was just expecting a little bit. I was expecting a little bit more. It was really good though. The scene that I was preparing myself for was Jaehaerys. We knew Jace was going to die. Again, if you've read the books, you know things. You knew Jace was going to die. The way that Vermax dies is always so sad. I was preparing myself for that. Yeah, there a lot. Like I said, all of it. It was really good. I think what they've got going with that first episode, and they've already started. They're about to start shooting for season 4. This was huge. It was huge. It was a really big episode. You had the loss of Jace. You had the loss of Vermax. You saw finally why no dragon wanted to fuck with not Bela. Is it Rhaena? How do you say her name? Rhaena, I think is Rhaena. Yeah. So that was one of my things I really hated too. Again, you know it's coming. You know it's coming, but just her Rhaena diving into the Gullet with Sheep Stealer was when I read it, it was stupid as fuck. Watching it was stupid as fuck. And it makes me so mad because I blame Vermax. I'm sorry. I blame her for Jason Vermax's death. Had she not brought Sheep Stealer, a dragon she's had for 5 seconds that she has zero control over, just because he fed you, just because he let you get on his back and things, you have no training, you have no nothing, you haven't had a dragon your entire life, and you're jumping into battle with Sheep Stealer, and you have no control over him whatsoever. Hated that, because I think that is what led to Vermax and Jace's death. Vermax trying to help Moondancer and Bela escape from Sheep Stealer trying to kill them is what got that fucking the spear put into Vermax's chest, drug him back down to the water, and then obviously the arrows into Jace. So yeah, it's very obvious to everybody now that didn't know, didn't read the books or anything like that, why she didn't have a dragon. Why no dragon ever bonded with her ass. And now we've seen the effects of it. NYC said Sheep Stealer. What kind of name is that? Well, that's what he does. He steals sheeps. He steals sheeps. He's a dragon, big ass dragon that nobody had captured or claimed, and he steals sheep. He eats them and steals them. Yeah. I think that Rhaenyra is on my goddamn nerves, just like she was in the books. She's on my nerves just because you are the queen. You are if you die, I remember saying this so many times in season 2, if you die, everything is lost. So you cannot just get on Cyrax and go barging into no matter how experienced Cyrax is, it's not like Cyrax is experienced in war anyway. She's not. Cyrax has never been to war. Rhaenyra has never been to war. So Rhaenyra is not experienced in war. Cyrax is not experienced in war. They are both just experienced in their ability of knowing one another. Her being bonded with her dragon and her dragon knowing its rider. However, in the heat of battle with spears flying at you, with arrows flying at you, with the blinking on the word, the fireballs flying at you and things like that. Like Cyrax is not experienced for that. Vhagar helped conquer the 7 kingdoms. Vhagar's experienced. Meleys was experienced. There are some dragons that are experienced with war. Vermax, Moon Dancer, Sheep Stealer, to my knowledge, Cyrax are not them. So for her to just want to jump on Cyrax and go barging into war, what are you doing? And so I'm glad that Jace took the decision to lock her in her room because she was becoming a threat to herself, and not only a threat to herself, a threat to the entire operation of people that laid their lives down to get her back on the throne. Rhaenyra does things and says things that just doesn't make sense. I understand that she wants to be like her father, and she wants to pine for peace, and she wants if there could be no more bloodshed, then no more bloodshed. If there could be no more fire burn, then no more fire burn, and all that kind of stuff. But I am one that has disagreed with that. I am definitely I'm on the team black, but I disagree with that. You have a dragon. Not only do you have a dragon, you have more than the greens. Yes, they've got the big bitch Vhagar, but you've got more than the greens. Meleys gave Vhagar a run for her money. You give throw 2 or 3 more dragons at Vhagar, you can take Vhagar down. But the fact that she's wanting to do this whole, peaceful and this and that, and Alicent this and all this kind of like Rhaenyra, like Aemon said in the commercial, in war, people die. People die. People die in war. You die, or things. You're going to lose. You're going to lose a lot of things in war, especially a war like this with dragons. So, I think Rhaenyra's on my nerves. I'm glad what happened to her happened. As far as now, I hate that it happened as far as to Jace, but that a lot of people are going to feel her wrath. I feel like in this next episode, because that is treason. You locked me in my room, regardless of me being in danger to myself. You locked me in my room, and as a result of that, I lost my other son. I lost my other son. I have one more, but I lost the heir. So, yeah. I definitely didn't like her pining, her still trying to pine for peace and shit like that, even though she said she was going to go into the Alicent was going to open the gates of King's Landing. She was going to fly in on Cyrax and the 2 other dragons with her, and she was going to behead Aegon and take her seat on the throne. My thing is, again, like what Jace was saying, Mother, how do you know that this is even? How do you know that this is real? How do you know that this isn't a trap being set up to kill you, to take you out? Because like he's been saying since season 2, if you die, everything we've been doing is lost. So there was that with her. Not really much with Aemon besides what he was doing in the Riverlands. Vhagar never showed up. The stuff between Alf, Adam, and I forget other dude's name. While they were waiting for Vhagar to show up, not really much there outside of them just saying, them saying let's wait. Alf saying no, let's go. We've been waiting. Vhagar's not showing up. Alf is more the mindset, not so much, not all the way, but more the mindset of I am. I have a dragon, you don't. I don't have to ask you for shit or anything like that. I have like they were talking about the castle thing. He's like, well, what can I get? What can I get at being a knight? You know, you being respected. And he's like, I would get respect with the fucking dragon. Yeah, I have a dragon. You don't. So I'm definitely more of the mindset of Alf, where I'm like, yeah, I've got a dragon. I've got all the respect I need with just my dragon. And then the stuff with Aemond kissing Alicent. If the whole time he was kissing Alicent, I could only think of what she said in season 1 to Rhaenyra. You Targaryens do have a what did she say? A perverse way with your relations or whatever she said. That's all I kept thinking about. I was like, yeah, well, your son kissing you. So I'm just like that part was weird. But Aemon has definitely been taking on who Aemon has always been. He's turning in really ruthless. His death is coming up too, though. He will die in the God's eye with Aemon. So yeah. This episode was really, really good. It still wasn't as fantastical as I wanted it to be. I was really expecting some Game of Thrones as stuff. And I just don't know that they will ever be able to touch that magic again of Game of Thrones. Not to say that this wasn't great, because it was. I just was kind of expecting a little bit more. Yeah, a little bit more. The book, how Jace dies in the book with Vermax, though, it is similar, but it's not exactly one for one, which I also didn't like. I also didn't know I don't know why they changed Daeron's hair. Daeron is with his dragon. He's with, I think it's Ormond Hightower, his uncle. He's got the blue dragon. He's there with him. They changed his hair, and he's got red hair instead of the Targaryen white hair or blonde hair. Not sure why they changed him, or what his role is going to be changed to in this. Also, with the Battle of the Gullet, we should see in this next episode, if they show that part, correct me if I'm wrong, book readers, should we not see Aegon the Younger being whisked off by his dragon? Doesn't that happen at the Battle of the Gullet? Because Aegon the Younger is in one of those boats. Is he not being taken to, what is it, Essos or whatever? Wherever he's being taken to across the Narrow Sea. He's being taken over there, but the battle they lost. They're losing the battle. They lost the battle. So doesn't his dragon, which is really not that big of a dragon, carry him, and they leave? He has to leave his other brother there. Joffrey isn't, or it's not Joffrey, is it Jeffrey? I'm trying to remember from the books. Help me, book readers. No. Why? Why did they change that? Because I was thinking to myself, when is this happening? And I did not see that happen. Maybe that's the next episode. That should have happened. That's really stupid that's dumb. That's dumb. Why did they change that? That is huge. That part is huge, man. Okay. Anyway, if you've read the books, then you know that Aegon the Younger is at the Battle of the Gullet. He's being protected, but I think he's supposed to be, is it Essos? I forget where he's going. But the battle gets so bad, as you see, that his dragon, he had to flee away on his dragon. I don't even think he was on his dragon's back. I think he was like hanging on to his dragon while his dragon like whisked him out while arrows and stuff were being shot at them. Why did they not show that? I was thinking to myself, okay, it must be in the next episode. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. Yeah, I know. I know he left. I do know he left. Oh, man, that sucks. However, anyway, this episode was great. I wanted to do have a more of a conversation about it with Blue and everybody else. And even if it's just Blue and myself and one more person, we may just try to do the after show. We were supposed to have an after show, but because time zones and everybody watching it at different times, it was too late by the time everybody watched it. So we couldn't do the after show, but we're going to try to do the after show next Sunday. Where we can actually really talk about this in depth with everyone. and get different perspectives and conversation out of it, because this is going to be a good season. It's going to be a really good season. They changed a lot of the source material. I do remember George walking away, like I Am Too Fly Cam said. I do remember that, all that. Let me address this very, very, very generous super from, who is this? Let me go back. Very, very generous from Culture Crave, or Culture Made, my bad. Let me go over here. I was reading that, and this, here we go.
I'm a gigolo, spending lots of dough. You can tell the way the wide body's hitting on flow.
Culture Made Channel said, "Sup, Darius, loving the new look, brother. Been a while since I could catch your stream. Just want you to know I still believe in you and your commentary and ideas. Keep rising, mighty Pantheon." Brother, that is, that means a lot. First of all, the super, I appreciate every person that sent a super, regardless of how big or small. All the supers really mean, because you don't have to. So it really means the most to me that you guys do. Thank you, Culture Made, for that very generous super and the kind words there, that you still believe in my commentary and ideas. So thank you very, very, very much for that. It's always reassuring to have actually, I'll tell you what, I start every stream nervous. Even though I've been doing this for years, I start every stream nervous, like, especially when I'm like, oh shit, there's 0 people in here right now, and the stream's been only the the intro's on. I'm like, 0 people. Okay, there's 3. Okay, there's 5. Can we get to double digits? So I'm always wondering, are people still fucking with me or my thoughts and the thing that blah blah blah? So it's reassuring. Thank you very much for that, Culture Man. I appreciate that, and the very superest for the very generous super chat. Thank you very much for that. It means a lot. Yeah, let me scroll down here. Dwayne said, how about doing a preview show next Sunday for this episode before the next episode? Might be able to do that too. Yes, Nettles. Nettles is supposed to be, he was supposed to get Sheep Stealer, but they changed that as well. They did change that as well. Pluto said, the Starks pulling up with the lion's head was tough. That was tough. Both of them are both dead. Both the Lannisters are, Lannister twins are dead. Ricardo said, please never quit, Darius. I, for real, always look forward to your streams, and it's even cooler to me that someone else in Oklahoma is doing something like this. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Ricardo. Very much. And I every time I see your name, I always think, hey, that's my fellow Oklahoman. I'm Too Fly Cam said, the Green Men sighting was my highlight. Yeah, that was cool. I wanted more. Of it, but that was cool. That was really cool. Yeah. Yes. Great actor too. Yeah, no, that was the Starks. The Starks pulling up was dope. It was dope. I was like, because when I saw them walking up, I was like, who is that? And then I saw the wolf. I was like, Winterfell. Brilliant. Yeah, great episode. Let's look at this preview for next week's episode, and then we'll call it and get on out of here.
Jace, what have you done? What have you done?
Wait, do they have Jace's body?
Jace, what have you done? What have you done? How could you?
Will you let him die in vain? Rhaenyra is weak, unsuited to rule. You will have justice.
I will never have justice. But what crumbs of it may be snatched.
Help me in the chat. What's the name of this battle again?
Unsuited to rule.
This one?
You will have justice.
I will never have justice. But what crumbs of it may be snatched. I will devour.
We'll fight on our own terms. My purpose is to restore the rightful line to the Iron Throne.
The rightful lion.
Restore the rightful line to the Iron Throne.
Rhaenyra is no queen. A new dawn is coming, and she'll certainly fail.
Every one of my miseries is of his making, and I swear I'm going to find him and fucking kill him.
I am my father's heir.
This is the moment you become queen. The patient hunter gets the kill.
The crown is a weight that...
The patient hunter gets the kill.
The crown is a weight that crushes. Rhaenyra will do, in the end, what she has to do. And what she has to do will be dire.
Have you not betrayed your queen?
You can burn us. You can kill us. You will never make us embrace her.
I wear my father's crown. My enemies will not deny me my right.
Yeah, some good damn TV. Some good damn TV. Yeah, man, I'm ready for next week's episode. That was great. This trailer, it's really good. It's really good. So yeah, some good stuff. Good stuff. Yo, give Bela a completely different storyline, which I don't really like right now. Yeah. I'm too fly Cam said, yeah, the two younger baby boys are going to Essos when they get caught in the ballot gullet. That's what I thought. And I hate that that's not in there, because I actually find Aegon the Younger story when he takes over as king very fascinating. The drama that ensues, the death, the drama, everything that ensues between his time as king, his personality, even the way that the fact that he wanted nothing to do with dragons, just everything. I mean, he watches Sunfire eat his mother. Like, when we get there in season 4, and they better not change that shit. That shit better be from the book to the T.I. dotted. He watches Sunfire eat his mother. So Aegon the Younger's life and story is really interesting to me. I find it extremely fascinating. So I hate that they've already started to change shit with him. It's frustrating, actually. Dirty Joker said, Daemon Targaryen represents both sides of the coin. When a Targaryen is born, he is a rough prince for a reason. I'm Too Fly Cam said, Jace the face is gone, but what is dead may never die. What is dead may never die. He's not Iron born. I'm Too Fly Cam said, this is the entire season trailer, not just the next episode. Well, still, that shit was still great. Shit was great. Oh, my fault. Is that a spoiler? My fault. I guess it is if you haven't read the books. Damn, my fault. Shit. My fault. Okay. Anyway, if you haven't read those books, you should read those. They're if you're not a big reader, listen to them. They're fantastic. Fantastic. Aegon the Younger story. It's great. So anyway, that's it for today, guys. Dirty Joker said Aegon the Younger only smiled when his that's true. When his younger brother, what's his brother? Joffrey. Yes. When Joffrey, that's true. Joffrey spoiled this shit for y'all in Game of Thrones, not me. That's true. When Joffrey's given Marjorie the tour of the Targaryen tombs, He's telling them all. He's telling her how they all died. So hey, don't come at me. Don't come at me. That is true. I'm too fly. Cam said Dragon Bane. Yes. Rumor says he poisons the last living dragon. Yeah. Yeah. He only smiled when he saw Joffrey. That's true though too. When he saw Joffrey, he smiled, embraced his brother, but still, shit was still, he was still Aegon and wanting nothing to do with dragons. Never smiled. Spent most of his time in his room. And anyway, when he was crowned king, he was too young to rule. He had other people ruling in his stead until he became of age, and that in itself was all very, very, very messy. A lot of people clawing for power, as you should expect. So, Joffrey could have been lying. He could have, but he was talking about death, and that was one of his most happy conversations when he's talking about people dying and shit. So I don't know, he wasn't. Dirty Joker said Viserys II, Aegon the Younger's little brother. Yes, Viserys II is Aegon the Younger's little brother, not Joffrey. That's correct. Is that correct? There's so many that the tree is confusing. Aegon the Younger brothers. King Aegon III Targaryen, often called Aegon the Younger, is distinguished himself from his uncle II, had a full younger brother, Prince Viserys, later King Viserys II Targaryen during the Dance of the Dragons. They were separated at the Battle of the Gullet, where Viserys was captured and held in lease, but then later reunited. That's true. Yeah, man. That's right. Who's Joffrey? Oh, Joffrey's Rhaenyra's youngest. That's right. Joffrey's Rhaenyra's youngest. Yeah, so. Yeah, you definitely don't care about cruelty. So, all right, guys. I think that is it for today. We will see what tomorrow holds for us as far as news goes. But as far as today's stream, I do appreciate everybody coming out. I appreciate the very generous super chats from everyone. Appreciate and always much love on the DCU Discord. That's always fun. It's always fun going back and forth with you guys about DC. Also, Michael maybe hitting 1 billion by the end of the weekend. And then, of course, where the fuck is Monica Rambeau? So we have some good topics today. Great conversation with all of you guys. Very much appreciated. Whatever you do today, do something productive, do something positive, do something that makes a difference in your life, if nobody else's life. Be great today. Be kind to one another. Have a great day. And thank you guys all for hanging out with me. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. Let me see this one. Ricardo said, Darius, you peeped the storm in the middle of the night. Mess shook my house. I was out. Did it rain last night? I do see mud out there. I guess it did. No, I was out. Didn't do anything to me. I was out. So yeah, like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to be here in the next stream so we can have some new faces. Unless those new faces are coming in like the 2 new faces today on that mic bullshit, they're gonna get blocked. So you better warn. So let me put this disclaimer. Tell a friend to tell a friend, but warn them before they come. Don't come in here on that bullshit. You will get blocked. I don't give a fuck if it makes me lose subscribers or not. You will get blocked. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, and I will see all of you guys in the very next video. Thank you for being a friend.
Thank you for being a friend.
Oh, yeah.
Travel down the road and back again.
Hey, so we started from the bottom, now we're here, girl. Oh, yeah. This is my part right here. Ooh, if I didn't the biggest gift, the biggest. Yeah, thank you for being my friend. Oh, yeah. Hallelujah.